Presented by Reynolds Body Shop and XRBRadio.com, the voice of Hendricks County. Avon Oriole football is on the air. Tonight's broadcast is brought to you by Reynolds Body Shop, McDonald's, ABC Roofing, and Sullivan's Tire Plus. Avon Varsity Football is an AudioSportsOnline.com production. Now let's head out to the stadium and join Doug Edens, Coach Dave Shelbourne, and calling tonight's game, here's Brian Scott.
Good evening, everybody. Welcome to Avon Oriole Football on AudioSportsOnline.com. Today we take the trip up the interstate to Lafayette, Indiana, where tonight the Avon Orioles will take on the Lafayette Jefferson Broncos as the 2012 IHSAA football season. 3 weeks remain in the regular season before sectional playoffs begin 3 weeks from tonight. My name is Brian Scott. Thanks for joining me tonight. Doug Edens, I hope, will be here in a little bit. Coach Dave Shelbourne, he's not with us tonight as we have a little bit of a change up in plans in our schedule. So Coach Shelbourne not with us tonight. He will be with us for the home finale next week back at Avon when the Orioles take on the McCutcheon Mavericks. Avon comes in with a record of 4-2. They're coming off of a win last Saturday against the Noblesville Millers. That snapped a 2-game losing streak for Avon. They defeated Noblesville by the score of 28-14. Cole Johnson playing the whole game last week and throwing for 4 touchdown passes in that contest. So the Orioles back on their winning ways, and they look to continue that here tonight against Lafayette Jefferson. As I mentioned last week, Avon got the victory for Cole Johnson, played the entire game as he threw last week 7 of 15, and he threw for 365 yards, also 4 touchdowns in that contest, by far Cole's best game of this season. Also got some good rushing contributions as Johnson also ran. He ran for 15 yards. It was Cody Baker running for 24 yards, and Jalen Edward running for 70 yards. Derek Tennett also ran for 43 late in that contest, but no rushing touchdowns for the Orioles last week. They got all their TDs through the air as Johnson and the Orioles very effective in that contest. We saw a couple of firsts last week as we started seeing some defensive players playing on offense, as we saw a bit of an unusual set as Coach Bless was bringing out Brian Stinnett, starting linebacker, and also Elijah Daniel, the other starting linebacker. They ran them on offense in some of the short yardage rushing, trying to get a little bit more beef up front and get a few extra yards that way. And while the Orioles did not get a rushing touchdown last week, it did prove at times to be rather effectively. What we did see was some contributions on the defensive side of the ball for some players that we haven't normally seen there. First and foremost would be Chad Skaggs, normally the Orioles starting tight end, and he is once again starting tonight. But last week he made a start at defensive end and was very, very effective. Quite a few rushes and quite a few pressures of Noblesville starting quarterback T.C. McKiernan. Also got some good contributions from Matt Batustik at free safety, and getting his first start at cornerback was the 360-pound sophomore Gabe Laxton. Gabe had a very good game against Noblesville, and he will be starting here tonight against Lafayette Jefferson. Orioles are now 4-2 on the season, and right now all they can do is look up ahead of them as they see Brownsburg at the top of the HCC standings with a perfect 6-0 record. It just so happens the Bulldogs are also in Lafayette here tonight. They are taking on the Harrison Raiders up here in Lafayette. So 2 of the Hendricks County schools up here in Lafayette tonight. Meanwhile, Fishers and Zionsville, that is the matchup in the Hoosier Crossroads Conference tonight. The Eagles and the Tigers both with identical 5-1 records. And for Fishers, it's pretty simple. They will have one more. They have a game with Brownsburg still on their schedule. So a win tonight puts them in a good chance for possibly gaining a tie atop the HCC standings. Meanwhile, Zionsville, they will have a game also here with Avon at the end of the season. Before we get more into tonight's game, we'll take a break, and we'll come back. Tell you about tonight's game. You're watching Oriole football on ASO.
Tonight's broadcast of Avon Oriole football has been sponsored by Reynolds Body Shop. They are conveniently located at 4325 West Washington Street in Indianapolis, just 4 stoplights east of 465. Call them today at 317-243-2372. They're open Monday through Friday from 7:30 a.m. to 5 p.m. Reynolds has been family-owned and operated for 30 years, specializing in collision repair. Reynolds Body Shop is also an insurance work specialist. Learn more about them on the web at www.reynoldsbodyshop.com. McDonald's is a proud supporter of Avon, Brownsburg, and Danville athletics and is the home of the McDonald's Hendricks County Sports Show, heard every Saturday morning on xrbradio.com. Be sure to join host Rob Kendall tomorrow morning at the Avon McDonald's on Rockville Road, where his special guest will be Avon head football coach Mark Bless and Danville head football coach Russ Sumner. That's the McDonald's Hendricks County Sports Show tomorrow morning from 8 to 9 a.m. on xrbradio.com. We'd like to thank our friends at the Hendricks County Flyer that have helped make tonight's video webcast possible. Please check them out online as well as watch tonight's game at flyergroup.com. A proud supporter of Avon High School football on audiosportsonline.com, ABC Roofing Company is your local source for roofing, siding, gutters, insulation, and more. ABC Roofing has been serving Indy now for 38 years. ABC Roofing Company has received the Angie's List Super Service Award for an unprecedented 13 consecutive years. The ABC Roofing Company is also the area's only Owens Corning Platinum Preferred Roofing contractor, only one of 3 in the entire state of Indiana. They also offer a lifetime workmanship guarantee backed 100% by Owens Corning. ABC Roofing is located at 8499 East US Highway 36 in Avon. Call them today at 317-228-9882 or check them out on the web at www.abcrfg.com. Sullivan's Tire Plus is a proud supporter of Avon Oriole football on ASO, and they want to remind you that in order to receive a complete oil change for just $18.99, all you have to do is like them on Facebook. They have 2 locations, one in Danville and one at 8397 East US 36 in Avon. You can call them for all your automotive needs and questions at 317-272-5050 Monday through Saturday. Sullivan's Tire Plus, voted the best of Hendricks County for 3 years in a row.
Welcome back to Schumann Stadium here at Lafayette Jefferson High School, where tonight the Avon Orioles will take on the Lafayette Jefferson Broncos. Brian Scott here with the Oriole pregame show. As I mentioned, Avon snapped a 2-game losing streak in defeating Noblesville last week by the score of 28-14. Tonight they'll take on a Lafayette Jefferson Bronco team that has lost their last 3 contests, including a 42-6 basting at Brownsburg last week. Lafayette Jefferson, they come into this contest averaging a little over 20 points per game, but they're giving up almost a little over 34 points per game. Quarterback is a junior, Matthew Johnson, and so far this season through 6 games, he has thrown for 481 yards, 3 touchdowns, but he has been intercepted 8 times. He's also carried the ball for 342 yards, including 5 touchdowns. They also rely quite a bit on their tailback, Darian Green. Green that so far this season through 6 games, averaging well over 100 yards per contest, 927 yards and 10 touchdowns on the season, including one via the air. It's a team, pretty much if you've watched Lafayette Jefferson through the years, quite a bit of a spread look, but they will also use quite a bit with their quarterback and tailback, as we have seen through these first 6 games. So for Lafayette Jefferson, it's going to be, can they avoid the big play? For Avon last week, they kind of got off to a good start, and it was the big play that was a big part of that. We saw some big plays made, of course, by Jalen Edwards, who moved from his wide receiver position into the tailback position. We saw him get some carries out of there. We saw him move into the slot in motion, get some catches. Jalen was a big part of last week's contest. Once again, Cody Baker ran very strong for Avon against Noblesville, and it was the defense that also had a pretty decent game against the Noblesville Millers. Millers did manage to get a couple of touchdowns on Avon, but they were pretty hard-fought touchdowns, and Avon gave them up rather begrudgingly, to say the least. So we'll see how the Avon defense does here this week. Of course, Avon next week 2 more games on the docket. They will play their final home game of the regular season when the McCutcheon Mavericks come to town before Avon will take on Zionsville to wrap up the regular season. That game will be played at Zionsville. So should have a good ball game hopefully for you here tonight. Again, the Avon Orioles with a record of 4-2. Head coach is Mark Bless, 23-8 in his third year with the Orioles, 172-75 in his 23rd year overall. And the head coach of the Lafayette Jefferson Broncos is Andy Kennedy, 12-36 in his 5th year with the Broncos and 21-37 in his 6th year overall. The Orioles are 6-1 in this series over the last 15 years, including a 46-7 pasting of the Broncos last year down at Avon. So that's what we've got here for you tonight as we await for the teams to come out onto the field. And while we do so, we're going to take a timeout, pay some bills, and we'll be back with a kickoff between the Orioles and the Broncos right here on AudioSportsOnline.com.
Tonight's broadcast of Avon Oriole football has been sponsored by Reynolds Body Shop. They are conveniently located at 4325 West Washington Street in Indianapolis, just 4 stoplights east of 465. Call them today at 317-243-2372. They're open Monday through Friday from 7:30 a.m. to 5 p.m. Reynolds has been family-owned and operated for 30 years, specializing in collision repair. Reynolds Body Shop is also an insurance work specialist. Learn more about them on the web at www.reynoldsbodyshop.com. McDonald's is a proud supporter of Avon, Brownsburg, and Danville athletics and is the home of the McDonald's Hendricks County Sports Show, heard every Saturday morning on xrbradio.com. Be sure to join host Rob Kendall tomorrow morning at the Avon McDonald's on Rockville Road, where his special guest will be Avon head football coach Mark Bless and Danville head football coach Russ Sumner. That's the McDonald's Hendricks County Sports Show tomorrow morning from 8 to 9 a.m. on xrbradio.com. We'd like to thank our friends at the Hendricks County Flyer that have helped make tonight's video webcast possible. Please check them out online as well as watch tonight's game at flyergroup.com. A proud supporter of Avon High School football on AudioSportsOnline.com, ABC Roofing Company is your local source for roofing, siding, gutters, insulation, and more. ABC Roofing has been serving Indy now for 38 years. ABC Roofing Company has received the Angie's List Super Service Award for an unprecedented 13 consecutive years. The ABC Roofing Company is also the area's only Owens Corning Platinum Preferred Roofing contractor, only one of 3 in the entire state of Indiana. They also offer a lifetime workmanship guarantee backed 100% by Owens Corning. ABC Roofing is located at 8499 East US Highway 36 in Avon. Call them today at 317-228-9882 or check them out on the web at www.abcrfg.com. Sullivan's Tire Plus is a proud supporter of Avon Oriole football on ASO, and they want to remind you that in order to receive a complete oil change for just $18.99, all you have to do is like them on Facebook. They have 2 locations, one in Danville and one at 8397 East US 36 in Avon. You can call them for all your automotive needs and questions at 317-272-5050 Monday through Saturday. Sullivan's Tire Plus, voted the best of Hendricks County for 3 years in a row. Motion 360 by Hendricks Regional Health provides care for the way you were meant to move. We care for every muscle, bone, and joint in your body to get you back to the activities you love. Get more information online at mymotion360.org.
Welcome back to Schumann Stadium. Brian Scott with you as the Orioles will take on the Lafayette Jefferson Broncos tonight. Still waiting for both teams to make their appearance out onto the field for tonight's contest. Should be a beautiful night for football here in Lafayette, Indiana. A little bit of clouds outside, but a cool fall evening with temperatures currently, I would say, in about the mid-60 range as some of the fall colors starting to make their way out across the landscape here in Lafayette, Indiana. As I mentioned, the Orioles currently find themselves with a record of 4-2, 2 games back behind the Bulldogs of Brownsburg. Brownsburg perfect on the season with a record of 6-0. And they've done it primarily with some pretty good offense and some pretty good defense, and you're going to win a whole lot of games when you can do well on both sides of the ball. The Bulldogs so far this season have put up 202 points while limiting opponents to a league best only 61 points this season. Meanwhile, Avon has scored 137 points, but they have given up 115 points. But that was pretty much through that two-game losing streak when the Orioles really couldn't find any type of cohesion on offense. They fell to Fishers by the score of 34-9 at that night at Lucas Oil Stadium, and then lost to Brownsburg. And while they held Bulldogs very close, they still fell in that game 27-8, as it was Brownsburg getting off to the early start in that contest. Those are the two losses for the Avon Orioles. That was after they won their first three games of the season, including an impressive 17-14 win. Last second, Niles Edward with a 25-yard field goal to knock off Hamilton Southeastern in the season opener. And that got them by, as well as coming back to Westfield. And they also had to survive a scare at Westfield, as Westfield won that contest by the score of 24-20 before throttling Harrison 51-6. I mentioned Westfield. I actually got to watch them play last week against the Hamilton Southeastern Royals, and that was a game that Hamilton Southeastern had at one point a 17-point lead, only to watch Westfield close the gap in the final moments of play, but eventually fall to Hamilton Southeastern by the score of 41-38. So the Shamrocks will be a team that nobody's going to want to play come tournament time. That is to be sure. The teams have made their way out onto the field. As we take a look, you'll see the Orioles are in their road whites, white pants, white jerseys, the black numerals with yellow trim, and the black helmets. And for the Lafayette Jefferson Broncos, the home black uniforms, black pants, black jerseys, red numerals with white trim, the red trim, and the black helmets. And both teams now making their way out for the coin toss here midfield. This is one of the nicest facilities you'll find in the Hoosier Crossroads Conference. Beautiful facility, nice grandstands, video board to our right as we get the coin toss underway. Hopefully Doug Edens will be joining me shortly, so we will be keeping a little bit of a zoom back look to our camera as we get this game going, so we can make sure that you can see all the action until hopefully Doug gets here, and we'll be able to zoom in a little bit closer. Until then, playing all the angles here. Avon has won the toss. They will receive, and it will be Lafayette Jefferson kicking the ball away. So Avon looking to get the ball first in this contest. Want to thank you for joining us for Avon Oriole football on Audio Sports Online. Want to remind you, tune in tomorrow at 8 from 8 to 9 in the morning on xrbradio.com as Rob Kendall have the McDonald's Hendricks County Sports Show. Tell you what happened with the Hendricks County schools in Friday night action under the lights. Of course, the big game in Hendricks County involves not any of the Hoosier, not either Brownsburg or Avon per se, but it happens in the Sagamore Conference as a undefeated 6-0 Western Boone team travels to Tri-West to take on a 5-1 Bruin. Both teams currently undefeated in the Sagamore Conference. So that's one of the games of high note in and around high school football. And, of course, the big game in the Hoosier Crossroads Conference is taking place tonight at Fishers as the Fishers Tigers host the Zionsville Eagles. A win by Zionsville, that leaves all sorts of interesting things happening in the Hoosier Crossroads Conference. A win by Fishers, and that's going to make it a very, very tough road to haul, as only Brownsburg would stand in the way to possibly a two teams at the top of the HCC. Getting ready to kick off for Lafayette Jefferson. Alex Baker, he kicks off, and Dane Thomas, Jalen Edwards are back deep, and this one's going to go out of bounds at about the 10-yard line. The kickoff will go out of bounds, and the Avon Orioles are going to have excellent field position to begin this contest. Let's quickly give you the starting lineup for the Orioles. 4-2 under Coach Mark Bless. The offensive line, we'll see Ryan Willis, Zach Kaufman, Chase Alexander, Jake Higginbotham, and Zach Ryan. The tight end is Chad Skaggs. The flanker is Matt Batustik. Nolan Woolley is a split end. The fullback is Cody Baker. The tailback is Jalen Edwards. And the quarterback is Cole Johnson. As the Orioles will line up with two wideouts to the near side, and we will immediately see Anthony Green in as a fullback with Baker at the tailback for the first play of the contest. Skaggs is left as he looks across the Bronco defense, and the give is to Cody Baker, and he will just plow forward and finally be dragged back before Alex Guadalajara is able to bring him down quickly. The Broncos defense, it's a 4-2-5, 4 down linemen, a couple of linebackers, and then 5 defensive backs. The offensive or defensive line is Matt East, Justin King, Francisco Franco, and Teddy Martin. The backers are Justin Gordon and Alex Guadalajara. Cornerback Trammell Abbott. Mitchell Sterner is the other cornerback, and the safeties are Irving Madden, Woody Archibald, and Carl McQuay. 2nd down and 5 for the Orioles as Johnson will give this ball right over to Anthony Green, and Green will not find, or actually that was Jalen Edwards. Jalen Edwards with the ball. Justin Gordon stood him up in the hole for little to no gain on the play. He'll give him forward progress just outside the 40-yard line, but he'll bring up 3rd down and 5 for the Avon Orioles as they hand the ball off to Edwards. He tries to plow right through the middle, but he is stopped by Justin Gordon, the strong side linebacker, a 5'11", 200-pound junior. So 3rd down and 5 for Avon. First drive of this game is it'll be Edwards and Baker flanking. And now they'll send Edwards out to the left. It's 2 wideouts to the near side. Johnson takes the gun, snap, fires to the left, looking for Edwards, winds to his knees, and they say he caught the ball at just beyond the 50-yard line. Good catch by Jalen Edwards, went to his knees, cradled it in, and it gives the Orioles a 1st down in Bronco territory at the 49-yard line. So the Orioles get a big 3rd down conversion on their opening drive to put it into Bronco territory, and that will break it 1st and 10. Once again, they will go 3 wideouts as Johnson will remain in the gun. He'll look down a 3 down front. Johnson waits for the snap. Long count, takes the snap, quickly looks, quarterback draw, runs it over the middle, and he'll take it just beyond the 45-yard line. It'll be a pickup of about 4 yards for Cole, and that'll bring up 2nd down and 6. Opening drive of the football game as the Orioles have the ball. They will have it 2nd down and 6. Just inside the Bronco 45-yard line with 9:37 remaining in this opening quarter of play. Matt Patustik is the wide out to the near side, twin tight ends for Avon. As Johnson this time still will remain in the gun, takes a snap. Here's a handoff. Here's Jalen Edwards, pulls it around the near side, gets inside the 40. Penalty flag comes in late. It looked like Jalen had enough for the 1st down. We'll see what the penalty flag is. They will say that it was enough for a 1st down as they will stop the clock now, and they will tack on a 5-yard face masking penalty to the end of that. And that'll put the ball at the 34-yard line of Lafayette Jefferson, and that's where Avon will have it 1st down and 10. So Edwards takes it around the right side, has enough to pick up the 1st down, and then they tack on 15 more yards. Cress Kimbrough, he makes his first appearance. He'll line up to the left. It is Nolan Woolley to the near side. Anthony Green and Cody Baker in the eye behind Johnson. Skaggs is lined up tight end right. Broncos show blitz. They bring it. Here's a give to the fullback, Anthony Green, and Green will take it to about the 30-yard line for a pickup of 4 yards. It'll bring it 2nd down and 6. Broncos showing some blitzing from the outside, but the Orioles just hand it off right up the middle, and Anthony Green playing with a bit of a pin in his arm, but he got the carry. He's still got a cast on that left arm. We saw him get a little bit of action last week against Noblesville. He's in here today. Edwards will go to the left of Johnson. Green to the right as Cole will be in the shotgun. 2 wideouts to the near side, 1 to the far side for Avon on this 2nd and 6. Johnson fakes the handoff, throws, fires, looking for Devin Michael, but throws it high. Michael tried to climb the ladder and haul that one in with one hand, but for Devin at 5'8", just a little bit too tall for him, and that'll bring up another 3rd down for Avon, 3rd down and 6. And the ball will remain at the Bronco 30-yard line. 8 minutes and 8 seconds left in the opening quarter of play. Opening drive of the football game for the Avon Orioles. As on this 3rd down and 6, we'll see Johnson await the shotgun snap. gives the handoff to Jalen Edwards, and he is going to be wrapped up and brought down on a fine defensive play. As coming in to make the play for the Lafayette Jefferson Broncos is a strong safety, Irving Madden, and that will bring up 4th down for Avon. The loss of 2 yards on the play. And from this kind of field position, they will go for it as the ball is spotted on the left hash. So Johnson on this 4th down and 8. As 2 wideouts line up to the near side, Johnson takes the snap, rolls out near side, looking downfield, fires, looking for Batustik, and it's up and too high. Good coverage there by Woody Archibald, and the Broncos hold as they turn the Orioles away down on 4th and 8. Joining me here for tonight's contest, we'll be hearing him as he's going to get the color job tonight since Coach Shelbourne is he's out having so much fun somewhere. His wife thought he didn't have any work tonight, so he's decided he's not going to be with us. That's Doug Edens. It's a pleasure to have Doug here tonight.
Well, it's a pleasure to finally get here tonight. I'll tell you what, I was kind of late getting out of work, and 65, I don't know who designed that highway, but they ought to be made to drive it once in a while. But last year, of course, 46-7, the Orioles, and I'm sure that Jeff remembers that.
It will be Matt Johnson at the helm of the Broncos, and the first give is to Darian Green, who will plow it up through the middle, maybe pick up a yard or two. The Broncos, again, work very much a spread offense that has been a staple of Bronco teams throughout the years. They've had some good success with this spread here at Lafayette Jefferson, but the past few years, not so much. And they are going to have a tough going, I think, here tonight versus Avon. They will take 3 wideouts and line them up to the near side, 1 to the far side, as Johnson will have Darian Green to his left in the gun. 2nd and 9. Here's a keeper by Johnson, and he's not going to find anywhere to go because he's going to run right into Elijah Daniel. And Elijah is going to swallow him up for a loss of about 4 on the play.
Well, Elijah didn't buy that at all and stayed at home and contained, just like what you want your defensive ends to do. Did a good job.
Loss of 4 back to the 29. It'll bring up 3rd down and about 13. Quickly, the Broncos offensive starters, Daniel Nelson, Evan Flynn, Cord Anderson, Robbie Alvarado, and Sam McKay are the offensive line. The wideouts, Lucas Wallace, Carl McQuay, Austin Albrecht, and Tim Wilson. Darian Green is the tailback, and the 5'11", 172-pound junior Matt Johnson is the quarterback. Johnson back to pass, fires, nice catch, and a penalty flag late. Back into the backfield, catch made by Lucas Wallace, but it's a roughing the passer penalty that's going to be called against Avon.
Well, I didn't see that at all, but the officials must know what they're talking about. So, but you know, it was kind of a nice. It looked like they were trying to set up a screen, but it was a nice little pass out there in the flat or out in the between the sticks, and 1st down for Lafayette Jeff.
That penalty will move the ball into Oriole territory just inside the 50-yard line as the roughing the passer penalty against Avon gets the Broncos out of what would have surely been a punting situation. So instead of 4th down, it's 1st and 10 for Lafayette Jefferson. They will run trips to the right, but the give is to Green as he lined out for the slot, looks for some room on the right side. He'll find Devin Michael. Michael will be there to bring him down, and he will get some help by Ryan Bradley, the free safety, but it's a good pickup for Darian Green, who lined up as a slot left.
Yeah, that was nice blocking at the point of attack, and they stretched it out a little bit, but not quite enough. Got to the outside, made a nice gain, 8 yards. And 2nd and 2 is always more manageable than 2nd and 10.
For the Orioles in their familiar 3-3 stack, the defensive line, Chad Skaggs, Jake Higginbotham, and Mac Duffin, with Skaggs getting his 2nd start at defensive end. The linebackers, Elijah Daniel, Thomas Hicks, Brian Stinnett. The corners are Gabe Laxton's also getting his 2nd start, and Devin Michael. And the safeties, Matt Batustik, Ryan Bradley, and Dane Thomas. 2nd and 2 for the Broncos. As here is a give to Green. Green looks for some room, and he's going to be able to get just enough for the 1st down before Brian Stinnett can finally finish him off. Needed about 1.5 yards, picked up 3 down inside the 38-yard line. It'll be 1st and 10 for the Broncos.
Well, that was kind of sloppy tackling. Stinnett had him in the backfield probably for a 3-yard loss, but good effort on the part of the back.
So 1st and 10 for Jefferson, as this is their first drive of the football game. Heading out to the far side is Tim Wilson, while they will split 3 wideouts to the near side, 2 to the far side as they line up Green slot right with only the quarterback, Matt Johnson, in the backfield, and he will drop back to pass. Rolls right, gets some pressure, looking, fires downfield, and it's going to be well short. Had two receivers well downfield with the pass, about 10 yards shy of either of them.
The half, we're going to be taking a look at what happened last week around the Hoosier Crossroads Conference, and also be taking a look at the sectionals, who Avon and the rest of the Hoosier Crossroads Conference are going to be playing. I know that hasn't been drawn yet. I'm thinking that it's probably going to be drawn this weekend, but I don't know that for sure. When it is, we'll let you know.
2nd and 10 for the Broncos. Clock shows 4:14 left to go first quarter in a scoreless game as the Broncos work on a 2nd and 10. On the option, here's Johnson. Cuts it inside, gets a nice block. He's off down into the secondary, and Matt Batustik finally is able to bring him down, but not before Matt Johnson got a nice kick block, and he was able to take it all the way down inside the 15 close and inside the 10-yard line of the Orioles, close to the 8.
Well, that's what you want to do against Avon. You want to get off to a quick start, and this is exactly what Lafayette Jeff has done, of course propelled by that roughing the passer penalty. But I guess any way you can is sufficient, and that was a nice run on the option play, just beautiful execution, got great blocks at the point of attack. Just a nice play overall. Good start for Lafayette Jeff on their first possession.
1st and goal from the 8 for the Broncos. They'll line up with 2 wideouts to the near side. And now we'll have a timeout called by Lafayette Jeff as the play clock was winding down. 3:42 left to go in this opening quarter play. We are scoreless at Lafayette Jefferson. You're watching Oriole football on ASO.
Tonight's broadcast of Avon Oriole football has been sponsored by Reynolds Body Shop. They are conveniently located at 4325 West Washington Street in Indianapolis, just 4 stoplights east of 465. Call them today at 317-243-2372. They're open Monday through Friday from 7:30 a.m. to 5 p.m. Reynolds has been family-owned and operated for 30 years, specializing in collision repair. Reynolds Body Shop is also an insurance work specialist. Learn more about them on the web at www.reynoldsbodyshop.com.
Head coach Andy Kennedy calls a timeout with the play clock winding down on this very important 1st and goal from the 8-yard line. We are scoreless here at Lafayette Jefferson. Alongside Doug Edens, I'm Brian Scott. Broncos got a bit of a reprieve as they would have undoubtedly been punting, but a roughing the passer penalty extended this drive, and now the Broncos have taken it all the way to the Oriole 8-yard line where they have it 1st and goal. Green in motion. It's a quarterback keep, and it's going to be for naught, really, as coming in to blow up the play for the Avon Orioles. Looked like it was Brian Stinnett once again.
Stinnett did really well, blitzed a little bit on that side and got through where he needed to get through. Nice play to take the Bronco down for a loss.
Actually, that was Joe Belden who was in who has now come back in as a defensive end. He was playing over here on the near side, so Belden was able to get in there and stand up the quarterback, Matt Johnson. Loss of about 3 on the play, back to 11. Will bring it 2nd and goal from the 11. And here on the option, they pitch it out. Here's Green, eludes 1 tackle, and he is going to run it in from 11 yards out on a fine run.
Yeah, just sloppy tackling on the part of Avon, but it was a nice play. They executed very, very well. It was a deep pitch on the option play, just very well executed, and the Orioles need to learn tackle a little bit better.
For Darian Green, that is his 11th rushing touchdown on the season as he took it on the quarterback option, pitched it out to the near side, eluded 2 Oriole defenders, and was able to get it into the end zone from 11 yards out. Alex Baker on to attempt the point after, and a penalty flag will stop this try before it ever gets started, as it will likely be against the Broncos. The dead ball foul, illegal procedure, false start against Lafayette Jefferson will back them up 5 yards to make this try again. So 2:57 remains in this first quarter. The Broncos strike first. And Baker will try this point after from 5 yards back, making it a 25-yard point after attempt. As Baker, with a straight-ahead kick, puts it up, and it's blocked, and it's the Orioles able to deny the extra point. So 2:57 left to go, first quarter. Broncos 6, Orioles nothing. Back with a kick right after this. You're watching Oriole football on ASO.
McDonald's is a proud supporter of Avon, Brownsburg, and Danville Athletics and is the home of the McDonald's Hendricks County Sports Show, heard every Saturday morning on XRBRadio.com. Be sure to join host Rob Kendall tomorrow morning at the Avon McDonald's on Rockville Road, where his special guest will be Avon head football coach Mark Bless and Danville head football coach Russ Sumner. That's the McDonald's Hendricks County Sports Show tomorrow morning from 8 to 9 a.m. on XRBRadio.com.
Lafayette Jefferson gets the benefit of a roughing the passer penalty to extend their drive, and they do make Avon pay for it as they get the touchdown, an 11-yard run by Darian Green. The point after was blocked, so it's a 6-0 Bronco lead with 2:57 remaining in this opening quarter. And now Baker will be on to kick this one away as back deep for the Orioles. Dane Thomas and Jalen Edwards, the opening kickoff of the game. Baker kicked out of bounds. He'll set the ball up on the near hash. So Baker runs up, and in this day and age, he is a square toe kicker. He kicks it, and it'll be taken by Thomas at the 5, 10 to the 15. Cuts across to the 25 to the 30, and he will get across on a fine run out to the 32-yard line. And it'll be 1st and 10 Avon at that spot.
Well, I think Robbie ought to have some real professionals on his show. Whenever he gives you an invitation, let me know.
You know, he's been bugging me for the past 2 weeks, but it was a last week, of course, with all the thunderstorms that caused such a mess with the schedules and all. I couldn't join him. And tomorrow on XRBRadio.com, I will actually be in studio as Shane Ray will be out at the 6th annual Hearth at Prestwick Classic Car Show.
Okay.
So you want to do that. Here's a nice run by Derek Tennant. He will get it across the 40, close to the 41-yard line. An 8-yard gain for Derek Tennant, and it'll be 2nd down and 2 for Avon.
Giving Jalen Edwards a little bit of a breather, it looks like. Nice run by Tennant right behind the guard, and some nice blocking again at the point of attack for the Orioles, 2nd and 2.
I have Edwards to the left. It is Baker, that is Tennant to his right. As Johnson works out of the gun with 2 wideouts to the near side. There's the fake handoff. Johnson keeps it. He'll take it over left tackle, and he'll pick up about 4 yards and enough for an Avon 1st down, close to the 45-yard line.
Nice move. Read his blocks and did a good job hiding the ball and getting the needed yardage for the 1st down.
And, of course, one of the great things about having Jalen Edwards in the backfield, you can work a lot of misdirection on this Oriole offense.
Yep.
You get everybody flowing with Edwards, who is a big playmaker for Avon, and that allowed Cole to just take it the other way and pick up the necessary yardage for a 1st down. 1st and 10 Avon at their own 45-yard line. Backfield, this time behind Cole, who will bend under center. Cole will give it, and he will give it to Derek Tennant, and Tennant, pick up about 3 yards as it looked like he was stopped at the point of attack, but found a hole to the right and took a no gain and turned it into a 3-yard gain to make it 2nd and 7.
Well, Jeff did a good job blitzing. They didn't hide it really well, but Avon did a good job just fending it off a little bit. But Jeff has to be credited for limiting that to a 3-yard gain.
2nd down and 7. 1:18 left to go in this first quarter. Broncos lead by the score of 6-0. Matt Batustik to the near side as Tennant and Edwards. The give is to Edwards on the stretch. Finds some room around the left side, and if not for a fine tackle over there on the far side by Lafayette Jeffs, Woody Archibald, it looked like Jalen might have been able to break that one definitely for the 1st down. Instead, will bring up 3rd and about a half a yard for Avon.
Yeah, Jalen did a nice job, fended off a couple of tackles, and but the one tackle that you mentioned did the job for him. But 3rd down and very, very short, very manageable.
38 seconds remaining this opening quarter. Avon down 6-0, and Johnson will just keep him on a quarterback keeper. He will plow ahead And on a play that normally you look to gain 1 or 2 yards, he gained a good 4 yards on that play down to about the 42-yard line where it'll be 1st and 10 Avon.
Yeah, it looked to me like they went on a quick count, which kind of caught Jeff off a little bit, which kind of resulted in the 4 or 5 yard gain on the quarterback sneak.
They'll spot the ball just inside the 43-yard line. 1st and 10 Avon. Their opening drive of the contest stalled out when Avon went for it on 4th down. They were unable to convert and gave the ball to Lafayette Jefferson. 1st and 10 Avon as Johnson will work out of the gun. 2 wideouts to the near side. Now they'll split. They will split Edwards out to the near side. So 3 wideouts, but they will throw the penalty flag and likely might not have had enough men up on the line of scrimmage.
I thought the left end for Avon was having trouble settling. It looked to me like he rocked a couple of times back and forth. I don't think that precipitated a penalty, though, but looked to me like they might have been confused about something.
It is a dead ball penalty, but either way, it's a 5-yard penalty against Avon. That'll move the ball back beyond the 47-yard line of Lafayette Jefferson. That'll bring up 1st down and 15 for the Orioles, and that'll also bring up the final play of this opening quarter.
Yep.
We'll head to quarter number 2. Avon trails the Broncos of Lafayette Jefferson by the score of 6-0. Back after this, you're watching Oriole football on Audio Sports Online.
A proud supporter of Avon High School football on AudioSportsOnline.com, ABC Roofing Company is your local source for roofing, siding, gutters, insulation, and more. ABC Roofing has been serving Indy now for 38 years. ABC Roofing Company has received the Angie's List Super Service Award for an unprecedented 13 consecutive years. The ABC Roofing Company is also the area's only Owens Corning Platinum Preferred roofing contractor, only one of 3 in the entire state of Indiana. They also offer a lifetime workmanship guarantee backed 100% by Owens Corning. ABC Roofing is located at 8499 East US Highway 36 in Avon. Call them today at 317-228-9882 or check them out on the web at www.abcrfg.com.
Alongside Doug Edens, I'm Brian Scott. We'll flip ends of the field, and we won't have to go all that far to do it. As Avon will now move from right to left as they'll have it 1st and 15 just beyond the Jeff 47-yard line. 6-0, the Broncos with the lead, and now we will have a timeout called as they are pointing over to the far side.
And I'm not sure what the confusion is about. I don't know if is it the band or is
they're saying the band has to stop. Now they're going to get the coaching staff to get them to stop. But evidently you cannot be playing during when the opposing team is
getting ready
has the ball.
Snap. Okay.
So that is why the stoppage of play. One of the first times I've seen that enforced, but 'tis a rule. You see that more often, I think, implemented and enforced during sectional play when it's a huge rule. But it's also a rule during the regular season. They seem to be a bit more lax with it. With Avon with the football, they're going to enforce it here, especially on 1st and 15 from the Bronco 47. We are ready for play to resume as Johnson will work out of the gun. He has Baker to his right, Tripp's right. And he will fake the handoff and roll out to the far side. Johnson fires downfield, intercepted. Archibald with the pick to the 45, to the 50, down to the 40, inside the 40, into the 30, to the 25, to the 20, and he's finally going to be tripped up and brought down as Nolan Woolley had to bring him down as Woody Archibald. His real name is Dennis, but he goes by the name of Woody as he just stepped right in front of Cole Johnson's pass, and the return is all the way back to the Oriole 15.
Well, I'll tell you what, I thought he was going all the way. He looked very, very well following his blocks. Maybe he does a little bit of running for JVs or something, but an excellent interception, one of those things that will give your coach gray hairs besides penalties to keep opposing drives alive.
Well, for head coach Mark Bless, he might see both of them here in this first half. It was a roughing the passer penalty that extended the Bronco drive, and that ended up in a Darian Green touchdown. And now Archibald's interception, as it's given to Green, but this play never got off the ground as a penalty flag comes in from the near sideline. As they will push the Broncos back. A fine return by Archibald, and when all is said and done, the return is covers 65 yards. And actually, if he may have tried to keep it near side, he ended up trying to cut too far across the middle, and that allowed Nolan Woolley, who is actually very, very good defensive safety, to finally run him down. 1st and 15 is here's an inside handoff to Green, and Green's going to be brought down by Brian Stinnett, as Stinnett is going to keep Green from gaining any yards on the play. It'll bring up 2nd and 15.
Well, Avon did a good job watching that play and keeping an eye on it, not moving out of their lanes and making pursuit to the ball. Good stop by the Orioles on that particular play. And I think it's important here that Avon forces no points personally, or at least a field goal try.
2nd and 15, ball will remain at the Oriole 20-yard line with a 6-0 score on the scoreboard in favor of the Broncos. Here came the blitz, and here's Johnson. He's just going to take it right up the middle.
Yeah.
Orioles blitzed on the outside. That left the middle of the field wide open, and that's all the room Matt Johnson need to run it in from 20 yards out.
Well, Avon looks a little disorganized right now. They're a little flustered, so they've got to kind of keep control. They've got to keep their cool. And it looks like we've got an Oriole on the field that's shaken up a little bit, number 52.
Yeah, for Avon, that would be Austin Merrill. He was working at nose guard on that play, and he looked down at his right knee, and he's not been moving really since. But once again, Avon, and as Coach Shelbourne has said all year, Avon has always been a bit of a risk-taking defense. This time, they tried to bring in the blitz from the corners, but that left the middle of the field wide open, and Johnson just sprinted 20 yards to the end zone and was not even touched.
No, he wasn't. It wasn't even close. It was a good play by the young man to read that and to play it the way he did.
Alex Baker will be on for the point after, as his last one was blocked, as he sets up, and good snap, a good hold. The kick is up. This one is up, and it is through. With 11 minutes left to go in this first half, Broncos extend their lead. They lead Avon by the score of 13-0. Back with a kickoff after this. This is Oriole football on ASO.
Sullivan's Tire Plus is a proud supporter of Avon Oriole football on ASO, and they want to remind you that in order to receive a complete oil change for just $18.99, all you have to do is like them on Facebook. They have 2 locations, one in Danville and one at 8397 East US 36 in Avon. You can call them for all your automotive needs and questions at 317-272-5050 Monday through Saturday. Sullivan's Tire Plus, voted the best of Hendricks County for 3 years in a row.
Matt Johnson's 20-yard touchdown run has given the Broncos a 13-0 lead with 11 minutes left to go in this second quarter. Alongside Doug Edens, I'm Brian Scott. Broncos set to kick this one away as Dane Thomas and Jalen Edwards set up deep for Avon. Last time up, Dane had a pretty good return, but eventually it ended up with a Woody Archibald interception of Cole Johnson. That set up the last touchdown. So the Orioles now find themselves trailing by 13, but plenty of football left to be played here tonight. But getting the Jefferson crowd all psyched up. It is homecoming here at Lafayette Jefferson, as this kick is going to be short. It's going to be taken at about the 12 to the 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, as Dane Thomas will take it beyond the 45, close to the 47-yard line. Good acceleration by Dane, and he just went straight north and south and takes a good return up to about the 47-yard line.
Nice special teams play. You can kind of see it open up a little bit as the Orioles pushed everybody to the side, and he kind of weaved his way around some good blocks. It was a good return. Of course, he's done this before. I know that punt return against Hamilton Southeastern helped beat them, and so earlier in the year. So it was a good play by Dane on that.
Of course, David Griffith has been out since earlier in the year with a knee injury. We don't expect him back this season. So it has basically been Thomas and Edwards back deep. And now, very oddly, it is going to be Avon calling a timeout before they come out to run their first play. We'll take a quick timeout as well with just under 11 minutes left to go in this first half. It's the Broncos up 13-0. Back after this. This is the Oriole football.
Motion 360 by Hendricks Regional Health provides care for the way you were meant to move. We care for every muscle, bone, and joint in your body to get you back to the activities you love. Get more information online at mymotion360.org.
Coach Mark Bliss and the Orioles burn a timeout before their very first play. Maybe not quite have the personnel package that he wanted out here for this opening play of the drive, which is an excellent field position for Avon. 1st and 10 from their own 47-yard line as Johnson will begin this drive under center with Green and Tennant back deep. And as Tennant with the ball finds some room around the right side, and Derek Tennant with a strong run beyond the 50 and down to the 47-yard line of Lafayette Jeff.
Nice blocking at the point of attack. Nice little run. Second and 4. Nice manageable down for Avon. And that's what you have to do is you have to kind of concentrate on what got you here, even though they threw 4 touchdowns last week. So it's a nice-looking start to this drive.
Kimbrough lines up as a wide out to the far side. Here's a pitch to Tennant. He will come to the near side, cuts it up to the 40-yard line. It'll be an Oriole first down before Archibald is able to bring him down. Archibald from his free safety position, he does lead the Broncos in tackling, and that's usually not a good sign when your leading defensive tackler is your free safety.
No.
So it'll be 1st and 10, Avon at the Bronco 40-yard line. Woolley will go as a wide out to the far side. That is Matt Batustik coming to your near side. Baker in as the tailback in the eye. Broncos showing blitz. Johnson looking for a hard count. He'll give it to Cody. Cody will bend right up the middle to the 40, 35, and inside to the 30. And a good 9-10-yard run by Cody Baker.
And the second time that, you beat the blitz like that, and Avon did a pretty good job on that one. Of course, Cody Baker's always been kind of elusive anyway, and he's got some acceleration, doesn't have a whole lot of burner speed, but very, very good back, knows what he's doing out there, knows the blocking.
Now, Cody Baker, a 5'11", 160-pound senior, and don't let that size fool you. He is one tough running back, and he pulls off almost 10 yards. It'll be 2nd down and a half a yard. As Jalen Edwards will be the lone wideout all the way to the far side of the field. Tennant and Green. Here's a Tennant. Finds some room around the right side, and he'll pick up about a 2-yard gain inside the 39, close to the 38, and it'll be 1st and 10 for Avon.
Jeff closed that down pretty well. It was a nice little inside type of run, and Lafayette Jeff did a good job, but still not enough to stop them from getting a first down.
So Derek Tennant starting to see some of the most carries he has seen this season as they're starting to use him a little more predominantly. Once again, Batustik will be to the near side. Nolan Woolley is the wide out to the far side with Chad Skaggs tight end right. As the give is a keeper by Johnson. A good play fake. He goes to the 20, to the 15, and he will once again be brought down by Archibald. But you can credit that one solely to Cole Johnson as he pulls off a beautiful play fake. Hid the ball from the defense and took it for a big gain inside the 15.
I know that he did that a lot last week against Noblesville. Did very, very well hiding on his fakes, and that one worked perfection. That's how you draw it up, and that's how you do it in practice. And I guess, if we can't beat him right now with our arm, we'll try with our legs.
And so far, Avon has moved all the way inside to the 13-yard line, 1st down and 10 for the Orioles. 8:52 left to go first half. Pitch will go to Tennant, who will cut it up inside to the 10, to the 5, and he will dive for the goal line. He will come up just short. But Derek Tennant showing some good running ability. Dived close to the goal line. He will be stopped short, but it'll be 1st and goal Avon.
Nice misdirection move by Tennant. Got everybody going to the left, or to his right, and he just cut back against the grain. Almost made it in, almost made it across the goal line.
In fact, Tennant will remain the I-back with Anthony Green in at fullback. Johnson under center. Loses the football. Fumble, and it looks like we'll see what the official call is. Nobody's saying anything yet. Johnson never got a hold of the ball, but did he get it back? Actually, it might have been Derek Tennant that got the football back. for Avon. Oh, they're going to get bailed out by an offside call anyway.
Wow.
So Avon, whether they got the ball back or not, is irrelevant. Lafayette Jeff, and that might have been why that ball was so loose. We saw Lafayette Jefferson diving across before the snap and knocked the ball away. So half the distance to the goal, has the nose of the football at the goal line. And we'll probably see the same play again. Johnson will keep it himself, and he will barrel over for the touchdown.
Well, I don't have to remind any avid Super Bowl watchers that in 1973, when the Dolphins went undefeated against Washington, the Redskins tried that against the Dolphins. Batted the ball on a punt. They were called. Finally, they were called for that. But that's typical. That was typical George Allen.
Yeah, well, the Orioles dodge a bullet there because the penalty allowed Johnson to run it in from a half yard out. He'll be credited for a 1 yard run. Niles Edwards' point after is up, and it is through. And with 8:11 left to go in the second quarter, Avon is on the board. They trail Lafayette Jefferson by the score of 13-7. Back with a kickoff after this. This is Oriole football on ASO.
Tonight's broadcast of Avon Oriole football has been sponsored by Reynolds Body Shop. They are conveniently located at 4325 West Washington Street in Indianapolis, just 4 stoplights east of 465. Call them today at 317-243-2372. They're open Monday through Friday from 7:30 a.m. to 5 p.m. Reynolds has been family-owned and operated for 30 years, specializing in collision repair. Reynolds Body Shop is also an insurance work specialist. Learn more about them on the web at www.reynoldsbodyshop.com.
Avon takes 7 plays to go 53 yards in a little bit of 2 minutes and 40 seconds. As Cole Johnson will be credited with a 1 yard touchdown run, and the Broncos now lead the Avon Orioles by the score of 13-7. As Niles Edwards is set to kick this one away, as back deep for the Broncos will be Darian Green and Lucas Wallace. As it will be Green at the 3, takes it to the 20, to the 25, to the 30, 35, 40, 45, 50. Still looking and coming down the sideline, and it is Nolan Woolley who's finally going to be able to run him down from behind. But Darian Green showing some explosive speed. He will get the return all the way to the Oriole 21-yard line.
Well, this isn't what Coach Bless was wanting right after a long, arduous drive for special teams to give up quite a bit of real estate and put the Oriole defense in a hole at their own 21-yard line. So, we'll see. They're going to have to just step up and buckle those chin straps and force a field goal. Of course, that's what I said last time.
Darian Green, he got a couple of key blocks in the return, but the rest was speed all on his own. As timeout's called, as they have to get the kicking tee off of the field, as it will be the Broncos 1st and 10. They'll spot the ball at the Avon 21-yard line. Jeff up by 6 with 8 minutes left to go in this first half. They'll load 3 wide receivers to the far side of the field, 1 to the near side. As Johnson back deep to pass. Nobody open, fires, passes in and out of the hands over here on the near side. Looks like it was tended for Carl McQuay. It's incomplete as Avon is in there to break it up.
Brian Stinnett was in there on the coverage, number 45, and he made a dive at it after it was tipped away and almost came up with it, but not quite.
2nd and 10 as McQuay had to go up a little bit for that ball, and he got popped just as soon as the ball hit his hands, and that caused the incompletion. 2nd down and 10 for the Broncos. Clock shows 7:53 left to go in this second quarter as Matt Johnson will work out of the shotgun. He'll give it to Green. Green's going to be kicked. No, it's a keep by Matt Johnson. Good play fake as Matt Patustik is able to bring him down on the near side. Good fake as Darian Green played through that fake very nicely, thinking he had the ball. Instead, it was Matt Johnson, the keeper, but Patustik was able to bring him down after a gain of about 4.
Well, it was a nice fake on Johnson's behalf, or on Johnson's effort, and when he started forward, he was met by some resistance, and then he got out of that. But Patustik wasn't fooled and eventually dragged him down.
So 3rd and 6, a big play here for the Oriole defense. As Doug said, trying to limit the Broncos to maybe a field goal attempt, and instead the Broncos will take their second timeout of this first half. 7:05 left to go in the first half. Broncos lead the Orioles 13-7. This is Oriole football on ASO.
McDonald's is a proud supporter of Avon, Brownsburg, and Danville athletics and is the home of the McDonald's Hendricks County Sports Show, heard every Saturday morning on XRBRadio.com. Be sure to join host Rob Kendall tomorrow morning at the Avon McDonald's on Rockville Road, where his special guest will be Avon head football coach Mark Blest and Danville head football coach Russ Sumner. That's the McDonald's Hendricks County Sports Show tomorrow morning from 8 to 9 a.m. on XRBRadio.com.
And you can hear the McDonald's Hendricks County Sports Show every Saturday morning on XRBRadio.com as Rob Kendall talks to the coaches and players and whoever else he can get his hands on about what happened under Friday Night Lights in Hendricks County High School football. Broncos will have a 3rd and 6 as Johnson on the keeper is not going to find any room as he is going to be brought down by Dane Thomas from his strong safety position. And that'll bring up 4th down as the Orioles strung that out nicely.
Yeah, they sure did. They played very, very well. They played very, very smart and kept that to minimal gain, denying them a chance for a first down, if not an increase in their score.
Alex Baker is going to come on to attempt what will be a 35-yard field goal. The ball will be spotted on the left hash as the right-footed kicker lines this one up. He's had an extra point blocked. And now time for a 35-yard field goal attempt. Good snap, good hold. The kick is up. It's on its way, and the kick is good.
Yeah.
So Alex Baker hits from 35 yards out, and the Broncos put 3 points on the board. They lead the Orioles by the score 16-7. Back with a kick right after this. This is Oriole football on ASO.
A proud supporter of Avon High School football on AudioSportsOnline.com, ABC Roofing Company is your local source for roofing, siding, gutters, insulation, and more. ABC Roofing has been serving Indy now for 38 years. ABC Roofing Company has received the Angie's List Super Service Award for an unprecedented 13 consecutive years. The ABC Roofing Company is also the area's only Owens Corning Platinum Preferred roofing contractor, only one of 3 in the entire state of Indiana. They also offer a lifetime workmanship guarantee backed 100% by Owens Corning. ABC Roofing is located at 8499 East US Highway 36 in Avon. Call them today at 317-228-9882 or check them out on the web at www.abcrfg.com.
Darian Green's kickoff return is an excellent one to the Oriole 21 after Avon's touchdown, but the Oriole defense holds stiff and limit the Broncos to only a 35-yard Alex Baker field goal, but the Broncos extend their lead to 16-7 as Baker sits ready to kick this one off. Dane Thomas and Jalen Edwards back deep. Kick will go to the far side, and for the second kickoff in this football game, Alex Baker kicks it out of bounds, and the Orioles will have excellent field position. Well, don't forget, Doug Edens will be along at halftime with our halftime report. Tells you what's been happening around the Hoosier Crossroads Conference. Of course, the marquee game in the HCC taking place in Fishers tonight as the Tigers take on the Zionsville Eagles. As this ball will be placed at the 35 after the penalty on the kickoff out of bounds as Derek Tennant racing onto the field at the last second, and Cole Johnson's going to have to tell him what the play is. Tight end is right, two wide receivers to the right as well, as Avon will start 1st and 10 from the 35, and Tennant will go to the right side and not find a whole lot of yardage over on that side. Matter of fact, is going to lose about a yard on the play.
That was nice penetration by Jeff on that side of the formation. Good stop for the Broncos. And I'll tell you, this field goal is big for them. Not a long, drawn-out drive. Had a couple of short fields. And anywhere you can get points is important.
It's a 9-point lead currently for the Broncos, but Avon looking to do something about it here. And once again, Tennant with the ball, but he's not going to get very far as he is going to be brought down behind the line of scrimmage on a fine tackle made by Lafayette Jefferson's Keegan Sorensen. as Sorensen is going to get Tennant before he gets to the line of scrimmage. It'll bring up 3rd and long for Avon. So 3rd down and 11 for Avon as Jalen Edwards will line up as a wide out to the near side as Johnson is in the gun, and we're going to have a timeout. And for Lafayette Jefferson, they're going to call their 3rd and final timeout with 5:13 left to go in this first half. They'll call it on defense. We'll take a timeout as well. Orioles trail by 9.
Sullivan's Tire Plus is a proud supporter of Avon Oriole football on ASO, and they want to remind you that in order to receive a complete oil change for just $18.99, all you have to do is like them on Facebook. They have 2 locations, one in Danville and one at 8397 East US 36 in Avon. You can call them for all your automotive needs and questions at 317-272-5050 Monday through Saturday. Sullivan's Tire Plus, voted the best of Hendricks County for 3 years in a row.
Big 3rd down and 11 coming up for the Avon Orioles, and Broncos head coach Andy Kennedy calls his 3rd and final timeout. The Broncos will be receiving the second half kickoff. So Coach Kennedy wanting to make sure he can set up the defense here and maybe get the Orioles off the field and get another chance to score before the end of this first half. 5:13, though, remains in this second quarter. 3rd and 11 as Johnson goes to the gun. That's Jalen Edwards to the near side. Johnson takes the snap. Good protection. Fires downfield looking for Jalen Edwards and overthrows Jalen by about 3 yards. Edwards had a step as he had Trammell Abbott in coverage, but a misfire as Johnson overthrows Jalen, and it'll bring up 4th down.
Well, that was really, really nice inside-outside coverage by Lafayette Jeff. They had 2 men on him, it looked like to me. So, it was kind of a nice play for Jeff, and it looks like they got their defense right.
Jeff did have some safety help over the top from Woody Archibald, but still a good pass is an easy completion. Instead, Niles Edwards is on to punt as they'll send twin safeties back for the Broncos. Edward get this one away. It will bounce and take a Avon bounce, and it'll be down at about the 22-yard line. That is where Lafayette Jeff will take over. 1st and 10 with 4:59 remaining in this first half, and the Broncos up by 9 by the score of 16-7. Broncos now out of timeouts here in this first half, and they'll set up shop 1st and 10 from their own 22-yard line. So Avon would like to return the favor and get Broncos off the field in a 3-and-out with still plenty of time left in this first half and 2 timeouts in their pockets to see if they can narrow this deficit. As it is, Matt Johnson will bring his offense back out onto the field and bring 2 wideouts to the near side with a wing back right. Johnson will give it to Green. Darian Green cuts to the outside to the 30, to the 35, and he will finally be run out of bounds near the 37-yard line. Devin Michael there to push him out, but not before Darian Green picks up about 15 on the first play of the drive.
Well, nice block out there by Tim Wilson, the junior wide receiver who occupied the defensive back coming up in support. So it was excellent execution by Jeff for that, and a result is a 1st down.
1st and 10 at the Bronco 38-yard line. 4:52 remains in this second quarter as they will send 3 wide receivers to the far side. And the only man in the backfield will be the quarterback, Johnson. He gives to Green, who came from a wing back. He won't find a whole lot of room before the defense collapses, as coming in to help make the tackle is Mac Duffin from his defensive end position. Green will only pick up about a yard on the play.
Well, that was a really deep handoff anyway, and it looked like the play took a while to develop. So it was fairly simple for Avon to stay home and to make that play.
They'll give him forward progress to just beyond the 39-yard line, so a gain of about a yard and a half. 2nd down and 8 for Lafayette Jefferson. Clock moving, 4:19 to go on a beautiful fall evening in Lafayette, Indiana. Right now, Avon on the short side of the scoreboard. Here is Johnson on a keeper, comes to the right side, gets strung out, and he'll be brought down after a minimal gain. Is coming to make the tackle over here is Matt Batustik after a gain of only a couple of yards. That's going to bring up 3rd down and 7.
Well, that's what you want to do. You want to string them out and eventually get them out of bounds to stop the clock. That saves precious minutes for the Orioles. It's a good play by Matt Patustik. I thought he got out of bounds. The clock's still running, apparently.
Ball will be spotted at the 42-yard line, but it'll be 3rd down and a long 6, short 7. 3 wideouts to the far side, 1 to the near side. Johnson with Green to his right in the gun. Johnson drops back. Pressure comes to the near side. Now he retreats and cuts back the other way. Still looking for some room. Fires it downfield. Has a man open, and he makes the catch. And coming there is Tim Wilson, and Wilson goes down in immediate pain over there on the track. He made the catch and immediately started hopping on one leg. And he is in some obvious pain all the way over past the Oriole sideline over on the track. But a fine play is you can only keep the receivers covered for so long.
Yeah.
Finally, the coverage breaks down, and Matt Johnson was able to find Tim Wilson. Wilson, a 6-foot, 160-pound junior wideout, but he is in some pain over there on the far side.
Yeah, that was a nice play. It was a nice pass play, but I think Johnson caught it across his body, some way twisted it, twisted that knee or possibly popped that hamstring on the reception. And, that's what you do as a football player. You hold on when you have pain like that.
They're going to have a injury timeout. We'll take a timeout as well. 3:23 left to go first half. Broncos up 16-7. This is Oriole football on ASO.
Motion 360 by Hendricks Regional Health provides care for the way you were meant to move. We care for every muscle, bone, and joint in your body to get you back to the activities you love. Get more information online at mymotion360.org.
Wilson is making his way back from across, and luckily looking not nearly as bad as when he originally went down. He's still a little gimpy, but he is under his own power as he's making his way from the far side, so hopefully maybe a cramp or something. When he went down, it looked a lot worse, but he is definitely under his own power, but walking gingerly toward the Bronco sideline. But give the young man credit. He came up with a 25-yard reception when the Broncos were at 3rd and a long 6, and that keeps the drive alive inside Oriole territory at the 32-yard line. That's where the Broncos have it 1st down and 10. They lead by 9 with 3:23 left to go in the first half, and the Broncos will have the football to begin the second half.
Well, that's the beauty of a mobile quarterback, especially if he can be accurate.
Good pressure by the Oriole defense, but Johnson able to get the ball off. And he will give it to Green on this 1st and 10. Green finds some room as he takes it right up the middle. And Joe Belden might have gotten a hand, but still good run by Green for 5.
Yeah, and this isn't what you wanted, of course. Coach Mark Bless can attest to that. He was hoping that it was his offense pushing towards the goal instead of Lafayette Jeffs. Adjustments will have to be made, I'm sure, at the half.
Green's able to get the ball down to the Oriole 27-yard line. That'll pick up 2nd and 5 as 3 wide receivers to the near side and 1 to the far side with Green to the left of Johnson. Green will get the carry. He'll look for some room around the right side. Eludes one tackle, eludes another, and it just some good high stepping. Is finally able to trip him up over here on the near side. Was for Avon. It was the Orioles. Mac Duffin was finally able to trip him up, but Green be able to high step through a couple of arm tackles and take it down to the Oriole 21-yard line.
Well, 2 weeks ago, this was the team that put 34 points on Hamilton Southeastern. So they're very, very potent, regardless of their 2-4 mark.
3 wideouts will go to the far side. They'll empty the backfield as Green will line up as a slot right. As Johnson on a quarterback draw will just take it right up the middle and pick up about 4 yards on the play. As a defense, you have to respect those 5 wideouts, and that time Johnson, with just a little bit of an opening, was able to pick up 3 yards into the Oriole red zone at the 18-yard line, 2nd and 7. Clock moving, under 2 minutes left to go first half, and the Broncos with a 9-point lead. And as I mentioned, they will have the ball to begin the second half. So A field goal or any type of points here would be huge for Lafayette Jefferson. Green to the right of Johnson. And Green will get the carry, eludes one tackle, cuts it in to the 10, and down inside the 10, close to about the 7-yard line before Matt Batista can finally bring him down from his free safety position. That'll be first and goal, Lafayette Jeff.
Well, Jeff really has them on their heels, and this is something that I think that Coach Bless is going to have to address at the break. Meantime, of course, as Brian mentioned, I'll be checking out what happened in the last week with the HCC and what's going to go on, what's going on tonight and next week.
First and goal from the 8 as Johnson rolls out to the near side. Looks, man wide open, intercepted in the end zone. Devin Michael with the football to the 10, to the 20, 25, 30, 35, 40. Finally ridden out of bounds near the 47-yard line. Devin Michael comes up with the big interception in the end zone.
Well, that's what you want. That's what you like. You kind of wish that you had another minute on the clock. But that's what Coach Bless was looking at, and the Orioles played it perfect, and it looked like it was a post pattern, and looks like he just kind of stepped in front of the receiver.
Looked
Beautiful
like
replay.
It might have been Woody Archibald that Johnson saw in the end zone. Johnson put a little bit of a softer touch on it, and Michael just stepped in, returned it for 47 yards. Cody Baker, though, on the first play, he is going to be brought down quickly, as coming in to make the tackle was Justin Gordon for Jeff. Cody's still able to get it to about the 50-yard line, where it'll be second down and 8. Clock moving, 46-7. Johnson rolls, fires wide to Edwards, and Edwards climbs the ladder and makes the catch at the 25-yard line in the midst of 3 Jeff defenders.
Wow, a circus catch by Jalen Edwards, and I'll tell you what, he's the real deal if you can get the ball to him. And that time they did, and first down for Avon.
So Michael's return takes it to the Oriole 47. Edwards' catch takes it to the Bronco 25. Johnson on first and 10. Screen set up to the near side. Here's Cody Baker to the 15, to the 10, to the 5, and into the end zone for the touchdown.
That's how you respond. What a great drive. 4 plays. Cover the distance. What a nice drive by Avon. This is the way to get back in the game. This is the way to give confidence to that struggling offense, because they were struggling. They had a couple of turnovers, and this is how you do it. What a great play.
That's all it took was the Michael interception, the Edwards catch, and the Cody Baker screen reception, and then 25 yards later he's in. So the big play capability of the Orioles pays through as Niles Edwards' point after is up. It is good. And what the Orioles were possibly looking at, they were looking at possibly being down 19-7. Now with 29.6 seconds, they trail only 16-14.
And that's got to be positive, unless, of course, they give up a big return. I don't mean to spook them, but anyway, this looks good. And I think that any premature celebrating needs to be abated, at least for a bit.
Well, so far what we've seen from both teams tonight is big play ability. Matt Johnson and Darius Green, of course, for the Lafayette Jefferson Broncos, and we've seen it all season long from Jalen Edwards and Devin Michael. Michael with a big interception in the end zone. He returns it to the Oriole 47-yard line. Jalen Edwards climbs the ladder in the midst of 3 Bronco defenders to haul it in at the Bronco 25-yard line, and then Cody Baker takes it 25 yards on a screen. And just like that, Avon trails by 2 with 29.6. And after we saw Darian Green's fine run the last time, we'll likely see a squib kick or something here to keep it out of his hands, because it was a good return that led to the last field goal. Edwards will squib this one on the ground. It'll be picked up by an up back at about the 31-yard line and falling down on right there. So, as expected, Orioles not going to give Darian Green the opportunity for another big run. And with Lafayette Jeff all out of timeouts now, they will have the ball just beyond their 31-yard line with 28 seconds remaining in the first half, up by 2.
That was an excellent special teams play. The up back did not try to pick it up and run with it. which usually results in a turnover, did a smart football move and simply downed it right there.
So Johnson in the gun. He'll bring Green to his right as Darian gets set. And it'll get the ball on the first play, and Joe Belden will come in and make a fine tackle and bring Green down behind the line of scrimmage for a loss of 3.
Nice play by Belden. He was keeping an eye on the backfield, fought off the block of the end, and just worked his way and took the angles out from underneath the back. Good play by Belden, and that's the end of the half.
Well, they will, after that loss, they will just elect to take it into the locker room as the Broncos will have the ball to begin the second half. Avon dodges a bullet, and they managed to put a touchdown on the board in the closing minute of this first half. They lead Lafayette Jefferson they trail Lafayette Jefferson, by the score of 16-14. It's going to be a bit of a long halftime, so we're going to pay a few bills, and then Doug Edens will be back with our halftime report. Your score at the half: Lafayette Jefferson leads the Avon Orioles by the score of 16-14. This is Oriole Football on Audio Sports Online.
Tonight's broadcast of Avon Oriole Football has been sponsored by Reynolds Body Shop. They are conveniently located at 4325 West Washington Street in Indianapolis, just 4 stoplights east of 465. Call them today at 317-243-2372. They're open Monday through Friday from 7:30 a.m. to 5 p.m. Reynolds has been family-owned and operated for 30 years, specializing in collision repair. Reynolds Body Shop is also an insurance work specialist. Learn more about them on the web at www.reynoldsbodyshop.com. McDonald's is a proud supporter of Avon, Brownsburg, and Danville Athletics and is the home of the McDonald's Hendricks County Sports Show, heard every Saturday morning on xrbradio.com. Be sure to join host Rob Kendall tomorrow morning at the Avon McDonald's on Rockville Road, where his special guest will be Avon head football coach Mark Bless and Danville head football coach Russ Sumner. That's the McDonald's Hendricks County Sports Show tomorrow morning from 8 to 9 a.m. on xrbradio.com. We'd like to thank our friends at the Hendricks County Flyer that have helped make tonight's video webcast possible. Please check them out online as well as watch tonight's game at flyergroup.com. A proud supporter of Avon High School football on audiosportsonline.com, ABC Roofing Company is your local source for roofing, siding, gutters, insulation, and more. ABC Roofing has been serving Indy now for 38 years. ABC Roofing Company has received the Angie's List Super Service Award for an unprecedented 13 consecutive years. The ABC Roofing Company is also the area's only Owens Corning Platinum Preferred roofing contractor, only one of 3 in the entire state of Indiana. They also offer a lifetime workmanship guarantee backed 100% by Owens Corning. ABC Roofing is located at 8499 East US Highway 36 in Avon. Call them today at 317-228-9882 or check them out on the web at www.abcrfg.com. Sullivan's Tire Plus is a proud supporter of Avon Oriole football on ASO, and they want to remind you that in order to receive a complete oil change for just $18.99, all you have to do is like them on Facebook. They have 2 locations, one in Danville and one at 8397 East US 36 in Avon. You can call them for all your automotive needs and questions at 317-272-5050 Monday through Saturday. Sullivan's Tire Plus, voted the best of Hendricks County for 3 years in a row. Motion 360 by Hendricks Regional Health provides care for the way you were meant to move. We care for every muscle, bone, and joint in your body to get you back to the activities you love. Get more information online at mymotion360.org.
Halftime at Lafayette Jefferson High School, and the Avon Orioles trail the Broncos by the score of 16-14. Here with our halftime report is Doug Edens.
All right, thank you very much, Brian. And I again apologize for not getting here at the start of the game. I had a little bit of traffic issues down around Indianapolis, but made it in one piece and with no tickets, no speeding tickets of any kind, at least not that I'm aware of. Anyway, at the half, Lafayette Jeff 16, Avon 14, and this is homecoming again for the host Lafayette Jeff Broncos. I didn't see any floats, so I'm assuming that they don't do those anymore, back like when I did. But anyway, last week around the Hoosier Crossroads Conference, if I can read here my own writing, In storm-delayed continuations, broadcast right here on Audio Sports Online, host Avon broke their 2-game losing streak with a 28-14 victory over visiting Noblesville. Quarterback Cole Johnson accounted for all the Orioles scoring. 4 touchdown passes. That may be an Oriole record, I'm not sure. 2 of them went to Jalen Edwards and 1 each to Matt Batuzik and Sam Bloom. The victory improved Avon's record to 4-2 on the year and dropped Noblesville to 2-4. Quarterback Cole Johnson completed 7 of 15 passing, 139 yards, was intercepted, while Jalen Edwards led a 152-yard rushing output, 70 yards on 14 carries. Hayden led Noblesville with 76 yards on 17 carries in a losing cause. The last Noblesville win against Avon was in 2006. Elsewhere, conference leading Brownsburg stayed perfect at 6-0. 42-6 victory at home against the visiting Lafayette Jeff Broncos. It was a dog's fifth straight triumph against Lafayette Jeff. They put up 35 first-half points and commanded a 42-0 margin into the final period before the Broncos averted a shutout on Darian Green's 1-yard run. Clinton Stubb Lee talks Akrinabadi, sorry about that. Quarterback Ian Good and Tyrell Luzman hit for 6-pointers as the Dogs pile on 278 yards rushing, 47 carries. They employed 11 different backs. Tyler Hudson led the effort with 71 yards on just 6 totes. Quarterback Ian Good hit on 7 of 9 passing, 143 yards and a pair of touchdown throws. One of them was a 27-yarder to Chase Dutra and a 49-yard strike to Hayden Shipman. The Broncos, after a 2-1 start, had lost their last 3. They are at 2-4 tonight thus far. Elsewhere, Fishers won their 4th straight on Friday night, the only HCC game completed on Friday night before the downpour. 34-6 was the final over host McCutcheon. Connor Christensen led the Tigers. 98 yards on just 6 carries rushing, including a 71-yard scoring sprint to give Fishers an early 7-0 lead. That would be stretched to 17-0 at the intermission on Alex Sayakian's 24-yard field goal and Maurice Campbell's 6-yard run. Harvey Allen's 7-yard scoring run in the third period made it 24-0 Tigers lead before the Mavericks would respond. Nate Deno would put McCutcheon on the board with a 29-yard sprint to cut the margin 24-6. But Seth Riley's 74-yard kickoff return quickly settled what little hope the Mavericks may have entertained of any kind of a comeback. Alex Sayakian's 25-yard field goal made it a final at 34-6. It was Fisher's 6th straight victory over the Mavericks. Hamilton Southeastern won their 3rd straight track meet. I get tired of saying that, but this is over 40 points for the 3rd week in a row. They started the year at 1-2, but they finished last Saturday with a 41-38 victory over host Westfield, and it was their 12th straight over the Shamrocks. The Royals improved to 4-2, and Westfield lost their 5th in a row for the year. They're at 1-5 after starting impressively against Noblesville, I believe. Anyway, running back Ryan Ripp set the pace for the Royals with 172 yards rushing on 25 carries and 4 touchdowns as the Royals shook off an early 10-7 first quarter deficit and marched to a 27-17 halftime lead. That would balloon to 41-14 before the Shamrocks would answer midway through the 3rd period. Quarterback Ross Risley continued to throw well. He hit on 11 of 14 passing. He was red hot, 177 yards, a pair of scoring strikes to Chris Ford. Shamrocks would respond on Frank Grimes' 14-yard scoring run. Cole McRae's 2 scoring catches from quarterback Matt Ferrer, who matched Risley with 20 of 37 passing, 278 yards. Frank Grimes would lead Westfield on the ground 179 yards on 31 carries, as obviously neither defense showed up for this one. Finally, Zionsville won their 3rd straight over winless Harrison, 55-14 at home. The Eagles won their 2nd straight to improve to 5-1 on the year. Around the Crossroads tonight, of course, we are here at Lafayette Jeff. The Orioles have won the last 5 meetings, including last year, by the score of 46-7. I'm sure the Broncos have that full in mind as they're trying to defend their turf for homecoming. Brownsburg is at 6-0. They're at Harrison tonight at 0-6. The Bulldogs have won 7 straight against the Raiders. They won last year 61-6. Noblesville at 2-4 at Hamilton Southeastern, who is 4-2. The Royals have won their last 9 straight, including 3 in postseason against the Millers. Hamilton Southeastern won last year 41-20. Westfield is at McCutcheon. Westfield is at 1-5. McCutcheon is at 1-5. And between the two of them, Westfield is the better of the two 1-5 teams. Shamrocks, they have won 3 straight over McCutcheon, including last year 45-27. And finally, Zionsville at Fishers, both teams at 5-1. As Brian mentioned earlier, the marquee match in the Hoosier Crossroads Conference. The Tigers have a 4-2 record in the short series. They won last year pretty handily, 38-14. Now, looking ahead to October the 5th, Fishers will be at Lafayette Jeff. The Tigers have a 5-2 mark against the Broncos. They're 1-0 in the postseason, and Fishers won last year, 42-21. Harrison is at Hamilton Southeastern. The Royals have 6 straight wins, 2 in the postseason over the Raiders. They won both last year, shutouts, 55-0 and 49-0 in the sectional. McCutcheon will be at Avon, and we will be live, Brian Scott, Coach Dave Shelburne, and myself, this next Friday night. The Orioles have 2 straight wins over McCutcheon. They won last year 36-17. Westfield will be at Noblesville next Friday. The Shamrocks have won their last 3 against the Millers. They've won 1 in the postseason against the Millers. They swept Noblesville last year in what was a regular season and postseason affair. The first game was 42-14 in the regular season, and then 26-8 in the postseason. Finally, Zionsville will be at Brownsburg. That could speak a lot of what's going down in the HCC, depending on what Zionsville does tonight at Fishers. The Eagles, they have an 8-2 mark against the Bulldogs, although the Dogs won last year 20-15. And jumping ahead to the final game of the regular season, of course, we should know what's going on with the sectionals, and we should be able to talk about that at length next Friday night at Avon with Coach Shelburne and, of course, Brian Scott calling the plays. But next, in 2 weeks, the end of the regular season, Avon will conclude at Zionsville. The Orioles won last year 35-21. The series is tied at 7 apiece. The Orioles, however, are 0-2 in the postseason, but 1-0 in overtime games against the Eagles. Brownsburg will be at Fishers in 2 weeks. The Dogs won last year 31-24, and Fishers has a 4-2 mark in the series. Hamilton Southeastern will be at McCutcheon. That will be audio with Brian and myself. Hamilton Southeastern has 8 straight wins. We'll be at McCutcheon when Hamilton Southeastern comes to town. But the Royals won last year pretty easily, 52-0. Noblesville will be at Harrison in 2 weeks. Millers have won the last 2 games. They won last year 7-0 in overtime. And Lafayette Jeff will be concluding their season on the road at Westfield. The Shamrocks have won the last 5, including last year 37-14. So conference standings after week 6. Brownsburg is perfect at 6-0, depending on what happens tonight. Fishers and Zionsville both at 5-1. Avon and Southeastern 4-2. Lafayette Jeff and Noblesville at 2-4. And McCutcheon, Westfield at 1-5. Harrison is 0 for the season thus far. Now in the sectionals, Brian and I, we will be talking more in depth about this when the sectionals are drawn. Fishers, Hamilton Southeastern, Harrison, Lafayette Jeff, McCutcheon, Noblesville, and Westfield are all in sectional 4 of Class 5A, along with Anderson. And, of course, Fishers was the state champ in 2010. Hamilton Southeastern knocked them off in the sectional last year, 35-10, and also beat them during the regular season as well. Also in Class 5A, Avon and Brownsburg and Zionsville concluding the HCC participation in the postseason. They're in sectional 6. And, of course, Avon was the defending sectional champion in 2010. Ben Davis, Decatur Central, Pike, Terre Haute North, Terre Haute South are the remaining 5 in that sectional 6. Ben Davis, the defending sectional 2011 champion, beating Avon in the championship by a wild one, 64-41. That had to drive a few coaches in the defensive press box crazy. And as I mentioned before, October 5th, we will be at Avon, Brian Scott, myself, and Coach Dave, for the Orioles and visiting McCutcheon. And then, of course, we'll wrap it up. Brian and I will be on the road at McCutcheon just across the way, I believe. I believe they're here somewhere close.
Pretty close.
Yep. And for the Hamilton Southeastern Royals and the McCutcheon Mavericks. Now, one thing I wanted to talk to you about
Brian, is the conference lineups. You know, the Star came up with a super conference.
They did.
They took the MIC, which has Ben Davis, Carmel, Center Grove, Larry North, North Central, Terre Haute North and South, and Warren Central, and combined them with Hoosier Crossroads Conference Tough Guys and also Conference Indiana Tough Guys. We, of course, know the HCC, but we don't know Conference Indiana. That's Bloomington North and South, Columbus North, Franklin Central, Lawrence Central, Perry Meridian, Pike, and Southport. So the Star is looking at an MIC Super Conference, which would feature, drum roll please, Avon, Ben Davis, Brownsburg, Carmel, Cathedral, interesting, Center Grove, Fishers, I can't see Cathedral joining that.
No.
Hamilton Southeastern, Lawrence North, Lawrence Central, Noblesville, North Central, Pike, Warren Central, Westfield, and Zionsville. So you're probably going to look at, let's see, that's what?
Well, if I'm like you, I don't think Cathedral makes it into that, and if it does, you've got to drop one more school, which would likely be Zionsville.
Yeah.
And Zionsville is part of an HCC. That would be they would be the big dog in the HCC. I mean, the whole thing in talks about, you know, a new MIC, of course, is you're going to basically have two divisions. And what that two divisions is going to come down to is a Class 5A and a Class 6A division almost.
Yeah.
It's an interesting thing. I think it's almost an inevitability. I would think that a lot of the MIC would like to get rid of those two schools out in Terre Haute, having to play that, and the same could be said for the let's say the big four in the HCC having to come up here to Lafayette several times a year. So it's a very interesting proposition. Of course, we're still waiting to see how this MIC thing works out, because that was one of the newer ones that I have seen. But I think you're right. Cathedral, the Notre Dame of Central Indiana, would they be willing to give up that independent, especially getting thrown into what looks to be one brutal, very, very brutal conference?
Well, you've also got the specter, too, of their contractual obligations to their schedule now. They play Cincinnati Moeller. They play Bishop Tatard. They also play they played that Kentucky school that has kind of made life miserable for them. They have a brutal schedule. I'm thinking, though, that if they move into something like that, if they adjust the conferences, they would probably not want any kind of seeding, which has also been talked about as well. Because if they go in at, say, 4 and 5, they still may be the best 4 and 5 team in the rest of the state, or the smallest 4 and 5 team, the best small 4 and 5 team in the rest of the state.
Well, a 16-team super conference, and like I said, from some of the things that we've been hearing, you're basically going to see 8 what will be the new Class 6 schools and 8 Class 5 schools in the MIC. It is, what do you do with what's left over? Many people have already said that as far as Terre Haute North and Terre Haute South go, putting them over with Bloomington North, Bloomington South, and a few of those schools over there, it seems like an obvious choice. What you do have a problem is, what do you do with the 3 schools that are here?
Yeah.
You could see you definitely – it's a very interesting matchup, and thankfully nobody has to worry about it this season.
Yeah. Maybe it would be smarter, though, if they kind of cut to the chase and folks like Lawrence Central and Lawrence North, not to besmirch them, but they're not as consistent, they're not as talent strong. North Central, again, is another one that's kind of iffy. Westfield definitely has had their problems. So, if they put all of those super schools that have all the draw and that have most of the talent, I think that would make more sense than have a couple of ones that are not going to be as consistent.
Of course, as how it affects the Avon Orioles, much of what is happening is, as we are discussing, involving the Hoosier Crossroads Conference. Right now, basically, if for sure affects probably 4 teams: Avon, Brownsburg, Hamilton Southeastern, and Fishers. There is some question whether Zionsville would be able to bid. They definitely aren't going to make Class 6 or 6A. Those 4 HCC schools would definitely be 6A schools. it would be quite a bit of a doubt whether the MIC would be willing to take on an outside school that isn't 6A. So as far as Avon's concerned, that is one of the things that you are really looking at is the possibility, the ability to not have to make the trip to Lafayette one or two times a year, and more importantly, come sectional time, not having to make that trip. It used to be out to Terre Haute. So that's some change. While we are talking about the future, let's talk about what some of the stuff that is going on tonight, because thanks to the wonders of technology, we do have some scores. Brownsburg also has made the trip up to Lafayette. They are playing Harrison. They are currently crushing Harrison by the score of 42-0. That is at halftime. And the big game in the Hoosier Crossroads Conference is taking place out at Fishers. That is the Fishers Tigers taking on the Zionsville Eagles. And right now it is Zionsville 28, Fishers nothing.
Wow.
As the Eagles have blanked the Tigers in the first half of that contest. So one of the big matchups in the Hoosier Crossroads Conference tonight, especially when you do consider that Zionsville, they have a couple of big games left on their schedule. They will finish out the season with Avon. Of course, they've got Brownsburg next week. It could be a big game and a big ramifications with the Hoosier Crossroads Conference. A couple of Hendricks County scores of note. At the half, it was Tri-West leading undefeated Webo. Webo ranked number 2 in Class 3A. As Tri-West came in ranked number 11th, it was Tri-West leading 18-14 at the half. And at the beginning of the third quarter, Plainfield got a 98-yard kick return for a touchdown from Chad Middleton. They are up on Franklin by the score of 28-14. That's about all the main scores we can get from the wondrous world of technology. And with that, the teams have made their way back on the field. We're going to take a quick time out here. We'll be back with a second half kickoff right after this. This is Oriole Football on ASO.
Tonight's broadcast of Avon Oriole Football has been sponsored by Reynolds Body Shop. They are conveniently located at 4325 West Washington Street in Indianapolis, just 4 stoplights east of 465. Call them today at 317-243-2372. They're open Monday through Friday from 7:30 a.m. to 5 p.m. Reynolds has been family-owned and operated for 30 years, specializing in collision repair. Reynolds Body Shop is also an insurance work specialist. Learn more about them on the web at www.reynoldsbodyshop.com. McDonald's is a proud supporter of Avon, Brownsburg, and Danville athletics and is the home of the McDonald's Hendricks County Sports Show, heard every Saturday morning on xrbradio.com. Be sure to join host Rob Kendall tomorrow morning at the Avon McDonald's on Rockville Road, where his special guest will be Avon head football coach Mark Bless and Danville head football coach Russ Sumner. That's the McDonald's Hendricks County Sports Show tomorrow morning from 8 to 9 a.m. on xrbradio.com. We'd like to thank our friends at the Hendricks County Flyer that have helped make tonight's video webcast possible. Please check them out online as well as watch tonight's game at flyergroup.com. A proud supporter of Avon High School football on audiosportsonline.com, ABC Roofing Company is your local source for roofing, siding, gutters, insulation, and more. ABC Roofing has been serving Indy now for 38 years. ABC Roofing Company has received the Angie's List Super Service Award for an unprecedented 13 consecutive years. The ABC Roofing Company is also the area's only Owens Corning Platinum Preferred roofing contractor, only one of 3 in the entire state of Indiana. They also offer a lifetime workmanship guarantee backed 100% by Owens Corning. ABC Roofing is located at 8499 East US Highway 36 in Avon. Call them today at 317-228-9882 or check them out on the web at www.abcrfg.com. Sullivan's Tire Plus is a proud supporter of Avon Oriole football on ASO, and they want to remind you that in order to receive a complete oil change for just $18.99, all you have to do is like them on Facebook. They have 2 locations, one in Danville and one at 8397 East US 36 in Avon. You can call them for all your automotive needs and questions at 317-272-5050 Monday through Saturday. Sullivan's Tire Plus, voted the best of Hendricks County for 3 years in a row. Motion 360 by Hendricks Regional Health provides care for the way you were meant to move. We care for every muscle, bone, and joint in your body to get you back to the activities you love. Get more information online at mymotion360.org.
Alongside Doug Edens, I'm Brian Scott as we get ready for second half action here at Lafayette Jefferson. The Orioles trail the Broncos by the score of 16-14. It will be the Broncos receiving the second half kickoff. Gotten a big night already from Darian Green, who is now just 10 yards shy of that magic 1,000-yard rushing mark here on the season. And as you've already noticed here from his kick returns and from some of his other plays, a very, very talented and very exciting running back here for Lafayette Jefferson. And he's one of the big reasons why the Broncos are up by a couple of points. But Avon, with that last minute furious drive there with 30 seconds left, all set up by Devin Michaels' interception of Matt Johnson in the end zone. Devin returned it to the 47-yard line. It was a 25-yard pass to Jalen Edwards that set up the 25-yard touchdown run by Cody Baker on the screen. That has the Orioles within just 2 points, 16-14, as Niles Edwards gets ready to kick this one away to begin the second half of football. Lucas Wallace, Darian Green back deep for the Broncos as Niles runs up, puts a right foot into it, and will kick this one short. It'll be taken by an up man at the 17 to the 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, and making a cut to the 50, to the 40, and going all the way for the touchdown. It was a return, believed by Katarase. Let's get the final, but I believe it was the up back Katarase with a 67-yard kick return for a touchdown.
Well, I'll tell you what, that's not how you want to start the second half, by giving up something on special teams, and something new that the Avon coaching staff is going to have to worry about and try to adjust to.
Actually, the kick return was by Carl McQuay. He was the up back, 26, not 36. And now penalty flag as Avon was late getting a player in on the special teams. And just like that, it was a good idea by Avon to maybe kick this one short. They've watched Darian Green get some big kick returns, but this time kicking it short to the up back led to Carl McQuay running it at 67 yards for the touchdown. Baker on for the point after, and just like that, back up top, go the Broncos by 9, 23-14 with 11:47 left to go third quarter.
Yeah, that's digging yourself another hole, and certainly the Orioles are capable of coming out and putting the ship right, but it's not a good way to start the second half.
Well, one of the things of Coach Shelbourne would probably hear, if he was here to tell us, is special teams, there's a reason why that is 1/3 of football. You've got offense, you've got defense, and you've got special teams. And right now, the Orioles special teams, especially their kick coverage teams, have been doing a very, very poor job tonight. They've given up several large returns. Last one by Darian Green, if it wasn't for Nolan Woolley being able to bring him down from behind, Green might have taken that kick back for a touchdown. This time, the Orioles elect to kick it short, but McQuay returns it for 67 yards. And just like that, the Broncos are up by 9, and kicking off once again to the Orioles is back deep for him, or for Avon, is Dane Thomas and Jalen Edwards. So Baker puts a right foot into it. He will kick it short, but Two-Stick will take it at the 28. Matt stutter step to the 40, and he will take it down to about the 43-yard line before he is brought down. And Avon will have excellent field position this time themselves at their own 43-yard line.
Well, I think Avon has got to stay calm and stick to their game plan. And they've got to counter this. They've got to put some points on the board and not let this thing get out of hand, because it can pretty quickly.
Well, the one thing Jeff also knows about is they watched Avon strike within 30 seconds for a quick touchdown. So let's see what happens as the Orioles start 1st and 10 Here is a give and stacked up and going nowhere on the play. Looks like it was Jalen Edwards. He was met at the hole and dropped. Colton Page was in there on the tackle.
Well, I think that
actually, that was Cameron Ulmer, I believe, with the tackle. But it was a stacked right up in there, and it's a loss of a yard for Jalen. That'll bring up second and 11. Tight end left for the Orioles as the give is to Derek. Derek will go straight up the middle. He'll pick up about 4, but once again, the Avon's going to find themselves in 3rd and long, as it will be spotted at the 46-yard line. 3rd down and 7 for Avon. Just underway, 3rd quarter, and the Broncos get a 67-yard kickoff return from a touchdown from Carl McQuay. And they are up by 9 once again, 23-14. And Avon now facing a big 3rd down conversion here. They don't want to get taken off of the field this quickly. 2 wideouts to the far side with Edwards way over there on the far outside, lined up in 1-to-1 matchup. Johnson drops back. Pressure comes. He'll roll to his right, and he will get it and gets it completed. Completed over to the far sideline to Devin Michael. Woody Archibald was there to make sure that he couldn't get any extra yards, and it will be a good 3-4 yards shy of the 1st down needed for Avon, and Edwards will be on to punt.
Well, like you said, a 3-and-out is not what the Orioles wanted as far as responding to Jeff's opening kickoff return, so defense is going to have to strap it up again.
Lucas Wallace will be back as a single safety for Jeff, as Jeff looks like they may be coming after this punt. Edwards gets it off and gets it away, but it's a high punt. It'll take a bounce, go straight up in the air, and it will be downed right there at the 29-yard line. Cody Baker there to make sure it doesn't go any farther. A good high punt, but it doesn't get a whole lot of yardage, and it will be the Broncos taking over 1st and 10 from their own 30-yard line, up by 9 with 9:34 left to go in this 3rd quarter of play.
Almost a shank on the part of Niles Edwards, and looked just as foolish as far as I was concerned if I made it on the golf course.
Well, it was a good high punt that did turn over, but just not enough distance out of it. But the Broncos will take it 1st and 10 from their 30 as Johnson will give it to Green, and Green will take it ahead for a pickup of a little over 5 yards. He's 5 yards closer to that 1,000-yard mark for the season.
Well, I'll tell you what, the strong defensive wall that Avon has prided itself on is really kind of being unasserted by Lafayette Jeff's line. They're kind of having their way with them right now. They've really kind of got them on their heels, and the Orioles are going to have to make some adjustments because Lafayette Jeff can run on them.
One of the things this spread offense does, it does spread out these linebackers and these defensive backs. As here's Johnson on the keeper. He'll have 5 yards and more before Brian Stinnett and the rest of the Oriole defense can run him out of bounds close to midfield. Needed 5, picked up 15 on the play, and it'll be 1st and 10 for Lafayette Jeff.
Well, that was a very, very good run by the quarterback for Lafayette Jeff, and dodged a couple of people, made a couple of people miss. And again, Avon, they're just kind of back on their heels, as I mentioned before. They're not tackling. They almost look hesitant, and they need something real quick. They need a 3-and-out here in this next series.
And we got timeout called, as I believe we are going to have a clock issue, as Jeff will come up with a 1st and 10 with the ball just touching the midfield stripe at the 50-yard line. And again, one of these things when you see a spread offense is it tends to bring out your corners and your linebackers and get them spread out all over the field. And one of the things that Avon has always done, as Coach Shelbourne has alluded time and time again, a very risk-taking, risk-reward type defense, a lot of blitzes, but having to cover these 5 wideouts at times. And then you've got Green and Johnson, both fine runners in their own right. That can be sometimes very, very tough on the defense because you're basically having to line up in a man-to-man, one-on-one to account for everybody. And so far, Jeff has done a very, very good job. They've added 5 seconds back onto the clock. 8:45 is now Jeff will come in and work a tight formation. Trips close right. 2 wideouts to the left. They'll bring Green in motion. He'll take the handoff from the side. This one's going to get strung out, but Green with a great burst of speed. He has that 1,000 yards on the season as he will take it inside the 45, close to the 42-yard line, a pickup of about 8.
That was a nice run, got to the outside, always kind of leaning in to make the defender hesitate, but an excellent pursuit to the outside and picked up 9 yards on the play.
You can see Green got the corner. It was good pursuit by Avon, but Green just has that 5th gear that he's able to get into, turn the corner, and outrun the pursuit. He picks up almost 9 on the play. It'll be 2nd down and 1. Once again, same formation. They just bring Green from the other side, except Johnson this time keeps it. Looking downfield, the pass is tipped and incomplete. Batustik might have gotten a hand in on that ball, and it was knocked down close to maybe picking it up for an interception was Thomas Hicks, but it falls incomplete. It'll be 3rd and short for the Broncs.
Yeah, I think that Lafayette Jeff had something going possibly deeper than that, but Avon had it pretty well covered. Throwing into coverage like that, like you said, was a pretty dangerous move for Jeff.
Jeff basically used the same formation. They just ran it to the other side of the field using Green as a decoy. But Broncos come up a little shy. It'll be 3rd and about 1.5 yards, and they will get Avon to jump. We'll see what this goes on is Johnson on a hard count.
Yeah.
Mike got the Avon Orioles to move, and indeed it is a free 1st down for Lafayette Jefferson. So what was 3rd and 1.5 yards is now 1st and 10 with the ball spotted at the Oriole 36-yard line. And the Broncos on the move, up by 9 with 7:55 left to go in this 3rd quarter.
Avon once again living up to their reputation for being penalized and hurting themselves.
2 wideouts to each side of the formation with Green to the right of Johnson. Here is Green, bounces out to the outside. It eludes 1 tackler, and finally the rest of the Oriole defenders will bring him down after a gain of about 2 yards. And again, looking at Darian Green, very, very explosive back, very, very quick back and elusive. Keeps those knees high, keeps them churning. And even though the defense was there, he still picks up 2 yards on the play to make it 2nd and 8.
Yeah, that looked almost like a jailbreak where he was trying to fight for survival, but that was all him moving past the line of scrimmage. Good run by him.
Clock moving, 7:17 left to go 3rd quarter. We are in the 2nd half, 23-14. Broncos with the lead. Green will be to the left of Johnson this time. As Johnson gives it to Green, he will go over right side on an inside handoff and be brought down by Bradley. He was brought down on the play by Mac Duffin. And it's only a gain of 2. And here's a big 3rd and 6 for the Broncos. A stop is very necessary for the Oriole defense right here. Too long for a field goal attempt, more than likely. And they have holed up Green on these past 2 runs, so we'll see what they can do on 3rd and 6. Johnson has been the one they haven't been able to account. Johnson, quick hitch, goes to the right, pass is complete, and he will hit over here on the near sideline Tim Wilson, who hobbled off of the field late in the 1st half. Looks in much better shape now as he gets the 1st down for the Broncos at the 22.
Well, Gabe Laskins actually was covering that pretty well, and but it was a nice little pattern and nice catch, and Haskins was there to escort him out of bounds, but of course not until he got the 1st down.
1st and 10, Broncos at the Oriole 22-yard line. 3 wideouts to the left, 1 to the right. As Johnson works out of the gun, the give is to Darian Green, bounces it to the outside, and a good tackle there for Avon as Matt Batustik was able to wrap up Green. Green didn't have any room in the middle where the play was designed to go, bounced it to the outside, still managed to pick up a couple of yards on the play, but Batustik brought him down.
Yeah, it was a nice play on the part of Matt. He fought off the block and didn't buy any of the jukes and took him down. Nice play.
2nd and 8 for the Broncos as we are under the halfway point here in the 3rd quarter. Jeff up 23-14. Lucas Wallace is going to go to the far side of the field. Desmond Wilson will line up slot left. 2 wideouts to the right, and now, once again, Jefferson's going to call a timeout. So 5:36 left to go in the third quarter. Broncos lead the Orioles 23-14. You're watching Oriole football on Audio Sports Online.
Tonight's broadcast of Avon Oriole football has been sponsored by Reynolds Body Shop. They are conveniently located at 4325 West Washington Street in Indianapolis, just 4 stoplights east of 465. Call them today at 317-243-2372. They're open Monday through Friday from 7:30 a.m. to 5 p.m. Reynolds has been family-owned and operated for 30 years, specializing in collision repair. Reynolds Body Shop is also an insurance work specialist. Learn more about them on the web at www.reynoldsbodyshop.com.
Alongside Doug Edens, I'm Brian Scott. A beautiful fall night for high school football here in Lafayette, Indiana. Big full moon high in the sky, and right now it's a rather ominous moon for Avon. They find themselves trailing by 9 as we are more than halfway through this third quarter, and the Broncos are deep in Oriole territory inside the 20-yard line with a 2nd down and 7. As Matt Johnson brings the offense back to the field, he has Darian Green to his right. Fakes the handoff, drops back, gets pressure, fires across the middle, looking for Wilson, and the pass, they say, hit the ground. It will be incomplete, but a penalty flag back here. They might have got Elijah Daniel. They did for roughing the passer. Daniels was coming on a bull rush from the outside, and just as Johnson got away, Daniels drove him to the ground, and they will give up the roughing the passer penalty against the Avon Orioles.
Well, I'll tell you what, that just drives you as a coach. Oh, that's just awful. You got to feel for Coach Bless to have to deal with that. That was more of a frustration sack than anything else.
Well,
he could have held up, and he just chose not to.
Well, for Jeff, they have done an excellent job of protecting Matt Johnson. That time, that's about as close as Elijah's gotten to him. And this time drove him down, and that drew the roughing the passer. It's 1st and goal from the 9 as Green will take it inside and find very little room, maybe gain about a half a yard on the play. It'll bring up 2nd and goal from about the 8.
Well, last week, of course, Avon led all the way, and they needed that. It was a breakout game. They had 2 subpar games, certainly meltdown against Fishers, and then, of course, against Brownsburg. They went 5 combined quarters without scoring. So we'll see how they respond here.
2nd and goal from the 8 is Johnson. Will keep it. He'll pitch it out to the near side, and nothing doing on that play as Dane Thomas and Matt Batustik were there to wrap up, I believe, Darian Green once again. And it's a gain of no gain on the play. We'll call it 3rd and goal from the 8.
Well, they're certainly in field goal range. And so we'll see what Jeff does and how Avon responds. And Avon, though, still would be down, if even without the conversion, still 2 scores. So they're still in this game. They just need to kind of play like it.
They will empty the backfield and only have Matt Johnson, the quarterback. 3 wideouts to the right, 2 to the left. Drops back to pass. Pressure comes. Steps up into the pocket. Looks for some room around the right side, and he'll run it in from 8 yards out.
Wow.
Ryan Stinnett was the last Oriole who had a chance, and
nice spin
Johnson
move.
was able to step through those high step through Stinnett's tackle and into the end zone. So Matt Johnson from 8 yards out now puts the Orioles in a huge hole as they wait for Alex Baker's point after with 4:08 left to go in this third quarter. Baker's had 1 point after block, low snap. They get it up, they get it away, and it's not the prettiest thing, but it still counts. And with 4:08 left to go in the third quarter, the Broncos up on the Orioles 30-14. Back with a kickoff after this. This is Oriole football on ASO.
McDonald's is a proud supporter of Avon, Brownsburg, and Danville athletics and is the home of the McDonald's Hendricks County Sports Show, heard every Saturday morning on XRBradio.com. Be sure to join host Rob Kendall tomorrow morning at the Avon McDonald's on Rockville Road, where his special guest will be Avon head football coach Mark Bless and Danville head football coach Russ Sumner. That's the McDonald's Hendricks County Sports Show tomorrow morning from 8 to 9 a.m. on XRBRadio.com.
4 minutes and 8 seconds remain in this third quarter, and the Broncos now out in front by the score of 30-14. Matt Johnson runs it in from 8 yards out. The point after is good, and now the Orioles have their work cut out for them, as they need 3 touchdowns to get the lead. And so far they have not had, except for that late spurt at the end of the first half, not a very consistent showing on offense. But a lot of this can also be contributed to some big plays by Lafayette Jefferson, both in the kicking game and simply by Darian Green and Matt Johnson. Baker on to kick this one off. He will kick it to the near side. It'll be taken by Nutback at the 18. This is Brian Stinnett with the ball, and he will take it beyond the 35 and be tackled at about the 36. That's where Avon will take over, 1st and 10.
And it looks like we got a couple of Broncos slow to get up. Can't see the number on this young man that's kind of hobbling, and he's in pain. Hopefully he'll be all right.
Well, Cole had played the game, played all of the game last week, but now with this big deficit, we'll see if that forces Coach Bless's hand, and we'll see if Richie Steinmetz might come into the football game, as they tend to the injured Bronco. We'll take a quick timeout. Back after this. This is Oriole football on ASO.
We'd like to thank our friends at the Hendricks County Flyer that have helped make tonight's video webcast possible. Please check them out online as well as watch tonight's game at flyergroup.com. A proud supporter of Avon High School football on audiosportsonline.com, ABC Roofing Company is your local source for roofing, siding, gutters, insulation, and more. ABC Roofing has been serving Indy now for 38 years. ABC Roofing Company has received the Angie's List Super Service Award for an unprecedented 13 consecutive years. The ABC Roofing Company is also the area's only Owens Corning Platinum Preferred Roofing contractor, only one of 3 in the entire state of Indiana. They also offer a lifetime workmanship guarantee backed 100% by Owens Corning. ABC Roofing is located at 8499 East US Highway 36 in Avon. Call them today at 317-228-9882 or check them out on the web at www.abcrfg.com.
Cole Johnson starts in the gun but ends on his back as a full-on blitz by the Bronx buries him back at around the 30-yard line. It's a loss of 7.
Well, I don't know if somebody missed a play that he was trying to go to out on the outside, but he kind of froze after planning to throw that way. And after that, it was goodbye, Nancy.
Well, my first thought was, were they trying to set a screen on the near side and just allowed the defensive line to blitz through? But as it was, that play never had even a half a chance. And Johnson sacked for a 7-yard loss. And the Orioles can't afford to be going backwards at this stage, down 30-14, and they'll now have 2nd and 17. And now Coach Bless is going to call a timeout, as it becomes if you can't say a second down is this important, but for the Orioles, they need to move the ball forward and get some yardage and get some points on the board in a hurry. Yeah. They have shown that they can do that. Again, that 30-second stretch there at the end of the first half showed that as much. But right now, they have this quarter can't end soon enough for, I'm sure, Coach Bless and the Orioles. It started off with a 67-yard kickoff return for a touchdown by Carl McQuay. Matt Johnson has just scored from 8 yards out. In the meantime, Avon has been held to simply 5 plays and nothing to show for it. So this 2nd and 17 is huge for the Orioles here in the third quarter. So they will have 2nd and 17 as Johnson will work more out of a pistol set. And he will, on the delay, give it to Derek Tennant. And Derek will be brought down rather rudely as he is going to be brought down, I believe, by Justin King. It's a pickup of about 5 on the play, but it'll make it 3rd and long for Avon. So that's going to force a definite passing situation here as Sam Bloom is going to actually line up as a wideout, I believe, on the near side here. And now he will come in his regular tight end formation as they send 2 wideouts to the far side. Johnson takes a snap, drops back. He looks, he fires, looks for Jalen, and Jalen got bumped off the route, but no penalty flag, and it will fall incomplete, and that'll bring up 4th down for Avon, and Niles Edwards is on to punt.
Not a good enough acting job on the part of Jalen on that particular call. He wasn't going to draw the flag on that one.
So Edwards is on to punt. Lucas Wallace back deep for the Broncos.
Well, this was the last thing that Coach Bless wanted, was almost a 3-and-out.
Again, the sack really put the Orioles off schedule. Nice punt by Edwards. Takes a sideways hop, and the Orioles will have to down it, and they will down it in about the 32-yard line of Jeff. So the Broncos, who have scored 2 touchdowns in this 3rd quarter, we still have 2 minutes and 15 seconds remaining, and they lead 30-14.
Well, they're going to have a lot of discussion about the tape of this one tomorrow and the rest of the next week before they prepare for who they're going to be playing at home. A lot of things for the Orioles to work on between now and then.
Of course, McCutcheon will be at Avon next week as the Orioles these final 3 weeks had 2 road games and 1 home game. Here's a grip to Green, who will find a little bit of room up the middle, but the hole closes rather quickly as coming in on the tackle for Avon was T.J. Wilson. But it's a pickup of about 2.5 yards close to the 35-yard line. Call it 2nd and 7.
Yeah, next Friday, of course, we'll be back at Avon, and Brian and Coach Shelburne and myself for the Orioles taking on McCutcheon. Want you to join us for that. I'll have everything for the HCC at half.
2nd down and 7 yards to go. 1:36 left to go, 3rd quarter. Johnson keeps it as he tried to hand it off. Finds some room around the left side, and he's going to be tripped up. And if it wasn't a little saving tackle by Nick Handlin, it'll be instead of about a 7-8 yard gain, it would have been a much, much larger gain as it is. It is 1st and 10 Broncos at their own 43-yard line. Ball over on the left hash.
Well, obviously they're a lot better than their 2-4 mark indicates.
Well,
they
the spread
played very well.
Yeah, these spread offenses, they generally give people, players and teams a lot of problems as Green tries to take it inside. Looks like the Orioles might have made a little bit of adjustment on this inside because they have, over the last couple of drives, been able to limit that play rather effectively. But so far, Johnson has made a couple of nice passes. And, of course, a couple of defensive lapses that have times, think of Johnson's 15-yard run earlier in the first half that as the seas just parted.
Yeah.
2 wideouts to the left, 2 to the right on this 2nd and 9 play. As he rolls out to the right side, he is pursued, has a man wide open over here at the 36-yard line as the pass is complete to Austin Albrecht. As the protection broke down and Johnson rolled out to the near side, the defensive backs for Avon kind of lost track of Albrecht, and he just sat down at the 36-yard line, and Johnson delivered the ball for a 1st down for the Broncos.
That's when you know that it's your night, when you can complete passes like that.
About a second difference between the play clock and the game clock. as Darian Green will look for some room and not find any. Brian Stinnett and the rest of his defensive teammates were there for the stop, and that'll be the final play of quarter number 3. 1 quarter left to go, and the Orioles have a whole lot of work ahead of them. They trail the Broncos by the score of 30-14. Back with fourth quarter right after this. This is Oriole football on Audio Sports Online.
Tonight's broadcast of Avon Oriole football has been sponsored by Reynolds Body Shop. They are conveniently located at 4325 West Washington Street in Indianapolis, just 4 stoplights east of 465. Call them today at 317-243-2372. They're open Monday through Friday from 7:30 a.m. to 5 p.m. Reynolds has been family-owned and operated for 30 years, specializing in collision repair. Reynolds Body Shop is also an insurance work specialist. Learn more about them on the web at www.reynoldsbodyshop.com.
Fourth quarter about ready to get underway as we take a look at the main score that a lot of people around the Hoosier Crossroads Conference are looking at. And Fishers has gotten on the board. They trail Zionsville 28-7 in the third quarter. Here, 30-14, the Broncos ahead of the Orioles as we start the fourth quarter. It's play action pass. Johnson fires down the middle, in and out of the hands of Tim Wilson as it was batted down. Good coverage there by Ryan Bradley, the free safety. That'll bring up third down.
Well, that was nice coverage on the part of Avon. They had 2 guys on him and made that pass a little bit difficult to complete. But still, it was a good effort on Wilson's part, and just excellent pass before he got hurt before. And we'll see what Fishers can do if they can come all the way back.
It'll bring up a third down and long for the Broncos, just underway here in the fourth quarter. And Jeff up 30-14. Avon needs to get the Broncos off the field here and shut them down. Here comes the blitz. Johnson drops, fires, sets up the screen, pass is complete, and up to the 20, to the 10, to the 5, penalty flag, and this one likely is going to come back. Green might have they set up the screen as the pressure came, as it will. It was Albrecht, actually, I believe, who caught the ball. But I think this one, it's not going to be a touchdown. It still should be a first down for Jeff. So Albrecht, I think, got the catch as he was working the slot position over on the far side. They set up the screen. It still will be a first down as after the markup, it still is beyond the yard to gain.
Yeah, it looked like a personal foul was committed at the 20. And while it takes away the touchdown, it still gives them excellent field position right there at the red zone.
So it will still be first down for the Broncos, but it will be at their own 20. So first and 10 as Johnson works with Green to his left, hands off to Green. Green is going to be stopped as Dane Thomas is there to bring him down behind the line of scrimmage, a 4-yard loss. As once again the Oriole defense keyed in on the fine tailback for the Broncos, Darian Green, and drop him for a 4-yard loss.
They're going to try to take away some of that 1,000 that he gained on them. But it was a nice play by Avon. They kind of asserted themselves, kind of shot the gaps, and made a really, really good play. Fought off the blocks.
So that brings it 2nd and 14 as the ball's moved back to the 24-yard line. Green will line up to the left of Johnson in the gun. Option as it's pitched out and pitched behind, and good play by Darian Green just to simply fall on the ball as Dane Thomas was running hard, and a fine smart play by Darian Green just to cover it up, but it's a loss all the way back to the 31-yard line. That'll make it third down and about 20.
Well, that wasn't that's always good practice, I guess, to work on your pitches like that. But the Orioles sniffed it out, stayed at home, played very, very well, and I think they would have taken that down for a loss anyway, even without the mishandling.
And what this does is it might make it a very long field goal attempt if they can hold the Broncos here. Johnson back to pass. Here comes the pressure. Firing downfield intended for Lucas Wallace. Pass well incomplete. Gabe Laxton's in coverage for the Avon Orioles, and that will bring up 4th down for the Broncs.
Well, let's see. Too long, like you said, for a field goal. There's a penalty, too, which kind of adds to the field position problem for Lafayette Jeff.
And Mark Bless is going to elect to take the penalty. It would have been 4th down after the incompletion, but he'd rather back up Lafayette Jeff 5 more yards to definitely put him in a 50-plus yard field goal attempt if it stays right here. So instead of taking the incompletion and 4th down and a long 40-plus yard field goal, they'll back him up 5 and make him try it again. 3rd down and 26. Ball at the 36-yard line. They will line up 5 wideouts, 3 to the top of the formation. They will set up, and Johnson will drop back, and he will get some yardage, and he will finally be brought down by Dane Thomas. But an excellent run, picked up about 20 yards to about the 22-yard line, and now what would have been a much tougher field goal had they elected to decline the penalty now makes it 4th down and a much more manageable field goal.
Yeah, I've found that usually those kind of decisions come back to haunt you, and either a touchdown or some points, and it just kind of set them up close here.
So what would have been, had they elect to decline the penalty, would have been about a 47-yard field goal, now becomes a much more manageable 38-yard field goal for Alex Baker. Baker, right hash, gets the ball away, and the kick is up, and the kick is no good, wide left.
Wow.
So Baker moves it left, a tough kick for a right-footed kicker over there on that right hash, pushed it a little too far left. And Avon is able to go and keep Lafayette Jeff off the scoreboard.
Yeah, you got to feel good about that, but again, 8:48, you don't have a lot of time and to try to get back in this ball game, and it was just through a penalty and that kind of thing that kind of kept them out of the end zone again. So, again, like you said, Avon, a lot of work to do.
Well, we've seen Avon with big plays capabilities, and now we have a timeout called by the Broncos on defense, and not all happy about this, as can be seen on the TV. We'll take a timeout as well as we go to timeout. 30-14 Broncos on ASL.
McDonald's is a proud supporter of Avon, Brownsburg, and Danville Athletics and is the home of the McDonald's Hendricks County Sports Show, heard every Saturday morning on XRBRadio.com. Be sure to join host Rob Kendall tomorrow morning at the Avon McDonald's on Rockville Road, where his special guest will be Avon head football coach Mark Bless and Danville head football coach Russ Sumner. That's the McDonald's Hendricks County Sports Show tomorrow morning from 8 to 9 a.m. on XRBRadio.com.
And that is every Saturday morning from 8 to 9 on XRBRadio.com, the McDonald's Hendricks County Sports Show. Again, scheduled guests are Avon head football coach Mark Bless and Danville head coach Mark Sumner. And we'll see if Coach Bless elects to join Rob tomorrow after what's looking to be a very, very tough night here in Lafayette. 1st and 10 for the Orioles, 3 wideouts to the near side. Dropping back to pass is Cole Johnson. Fires over the middle. Had Jalen Edwards, but it might have been tipped as coming across and making the play, I believe, for the Lafayette Jefferson Broncos was the strong side linebacker Justin Gordon, a 5'11", 200-pound junior. Might have gotten a finger on that to tip it away, as Jalen definitely looked like he was open, but it falls incomplete, 2nd and 10. It's time they'll put 2 wideouts to the top of the formation, 1 to the bottom as Cole works out of the gun. Drops back to pass. They set it up to Baker on the near side. Cody will be brought down after a gain of about 6 on the play. And once again, there to make the tackle, I believe, was Matt East this time, the anchor lineman, a 6', 215-pound junior, but will bring up 3rd and a short 5.
Yeah, they saw that play in the first half, and so I think they kind of recognized it and closed it pretty quickly. It's a good play by Jeff on that particular play.
Kimbrough and Woolley to the far side. That is Jalen to the near side as Cole takes the snap, fires to the near side. Jalen at the 28, cuts it up to the 30, to the 35, And he looks like he will have the first down at the 36-yard line to move the chains. But the clock shows 7:58 remaining in this football game, and the Orioles trail 30-14.
I'm thinking that's Avon's first half of the second half, or the first down of this second half. So
I think they got one first down on that first drive, but you're right. It's been very few first downs here for the Orioles in this second half of play. Devin Michael is the wide up to the near side. Nolan Woolley is all the way to the far side as they go two tight ends. And they give it to Michael on the reverse. Devin to the 40, gets by one tackle, and he will go out of bounds and stop the clock near the Oriole 49-yard line and pick up a 14 yards on the play for Avon.
Well, they had nice movement to this side by quarterback Cole Johnson, drawing some folks over with him. And it was a nice run on that reverse and good enough for a first down. And it's what the Orioles need right now, only a little bit quicker, I think.
Kimbrough and Woolley to the near side, with Woolley working out of the slot as Johnson stays in the gun. And he'll be a quarterback draw right up the middle to the 40 and inside the 35 down to the 34-yard line as Cole Johnson picks up about 15, 16 yards on that play for Avon.
Nice fake by Cole Johnson on that particular play and drew some folks to the outside as he looked over here to the right to the near side and took off and made some good moves. Picked up 15.
Jalen Edwards is to the far side. Anthony Green, and now timeout called by Lafayette Jefferson.
Wow, their last
and that's
one.
Their final timeout of the ball game. Now, granted, they have a 30-14 lead, but with 7:12 left to go in this fourth quarter, they will call their third and final timeout as the Bronco coaching staff not liking what they're seeing on defense, especially maybe from an assignment perspective. That time, Cole Johnson, on just a little bit of a delayed quarterback draw, took it right up the middle. We saw the Broncos' Matt Johnson do the same thing earlier in the game, except that time the yardage was the same, but for Matt Johnson, it resulted in 6 points.
Yeah.
So the final timeout for the Broncos has been expended as Anthony Green will go to the right of Johnson in the gun. Two wideouts to the near side. Cole drops back to pass. Fires left side. Pass is complete at the 23-yard line to Jalen Edwards. And Edwards picks up 11 yards and another Oriole first down. They'll stop the clock to move the chains. And the Orioles still huddling up. 7:06 remain in the fourth quarter, but Avon, they need some scores. Three wideouts to the near side. Jalen Edwards is to the right. As Johnson fires down the field. Pass is complete. Pass complete over to the near side. Matt Batustik in with the catch. He's out of bounds at the 12. It's not quite enough, I believe, for a first down, but they're going to bring the chains from the far side.
I think it's right on the line, probably, because of where the far stick was that I saw before he moved it.
So they'll bring them all the way over from the Avon sideline. 6:45 remains to go in this fourth quarter. Orioles trail by the score of 30-14. They'll stretch the sticks, and they will indeed be short by about a foot. But that brings up second down and short for Avon. They trail 30-14. 6:45 remains in this fourth quarter as they will mark the ball at the 12-yard line of the Broncos.
Well, of course, we'll be at Avon next Friday night. Brian Scott, of course, and Coach Dave Shelburne to do the color. And I'll be on the camera as well. And we'll see what the Orioles can do against visiting McCutcheon?
Visiting McCutcheon. It'll be the regular season home finale. They'll wind the clock as Johnson quickly works with three wideouts to the far side. takes the snap, and quarterback draw looks for some room on the right side, but ran right into his offensive lineman, Jake Higginbotham, and that's going to actually cost him a half a yard, and it'll bring up third down.
Well, kind of went to the well once too often, because I think the tackler had saw that and fended off the block and took Cole down for virtually no gain on the play.
I think it was Francisco Franco that got off the ball and pushed Higginbotham back into Johnson. Now they're working an eye, and Cole will just simply plow forward, and he will get inside the 10 to the 9-yard line, and Avon will have it first and goal from the 9.
Well, I think when you were talking about maybe replacing Cole with Ritchie, I think that's still out of the question now. Steinmetz looks like Cole's going to finish the game for them, one way or the other.
Cole has been throwing the ball fairly well. He's missed on a couple, but he's also hit. He hit Matt for that big gain here on the near sideline. And now for first and goal from the 8, 3 wideouts to the left. Johnson takes the snap, fires, looking, had a man wide open on the seam. I believe that was Matt Batustik, who just released off the seam, was wide open in the end zone. But this time they are not able to connect. It'll be second and goal from the 8.
A little high on that particular throw. Maybe he was startled that he was so wide open, because there really wasn't anybody close except for the safety that was closing on him.
So second down and goal from the 8-yard line still. 5:42 left to go in the fourth. Anthony Green stays in to help protect Johnson. He'll line up to his right. 2 wideouts, double tight end. Johnson drops back. Pressure comes. Puts a fade, puts it in the end zone, and it is a touchdown for Avon. Sam Bloom, who got his first career touchdown last week, picks up number 2 this week. And a nice touch pass from Cole Johnson into the corner, lofted it over the defensive back and into the hands of his big target, Bloom, for the 6 points.
Well, you've got a good play, a good look by the defender, and there just wasn't a lot you could do with a pass that was thrown with that much touch on it. So it was a great throw by Cole Johnson, and another touchdown pass to his credit. Second, like you said, to Sam Bloom.
Sam Bloom at 6'3" was covered by a 5'8" Woody Archibald, and now the Orioles will go for 2 here. They're down by 10. In motion is Batustik. The give to Johnson. Johnson fires, looking over, and the pass is broken up at the line of scrimmage, and it is incomplete. And the try is no good, and the Orioles will still trail by 10 with 5:38 left to go in this football game. We'll take a timeout. Back with a kickoff after this. This is Oriole football on ASO.
We'd like to thank our friends at the Hendricks County Flyer that have helped make tonight's video webcast possible. Please check them out online as well as watch tonight's game at flyergroup.com.
Sam Bloom is on the receiving end of an 8-yard touchdown pass from Cole Johnson, but the 2-point try is batted down at the line of scrimmage, so it remains a 10-point Bronco lead with 5:38 remaining in this fourth quarter. Broncos are out of timeouts, and we'll see what Avon elects to do here. Trailing by 10 with still just under a half of this fourth quarter remaining to be played. Darian Green is going to head back as it looks like the Broncos are going to bring their hands team up, expecting an onside kick. Green, and now they'll drop back a second safety. But they are up, and we know Niles can put this one deep. And they do onside. It is bounced, and it's recovered nicely by Lafayette Jefferson's Daniel Nelson.
That's what you want to do. That's what they teach you when you're going after those things, is just fall on the ball. Don't try to run it. Don't try to be a hero. Fall on the ball.
And Nelson, a 6'1", 220-pound senior offensive lineman, showed pretty good hands right there on the onside kick. And the Bronx will have it in excellent field position at the Avon 49-yard line, up by 10 with 5:34 left to go in the fourth quarter.
Now the Orioles need a quick 3-and-out right here, or a quick turnover if they're going to stay in this ball game.
They will still work out of the spread. 2 wideouts to each side. This is Green, and he will go straight up the middle, and he'll pick up a yard or two as Brian Stinnett in there, and Joe Belden as well for the Avon Orioles. A pickup of about a yard, 2nd and 9. Clock still moving. 5:18 left to go, fourth quarter.
That's right. You keep it in the field, keep the clock running, try to keep the chains moving as often as possible. That's how you win games like this.
So this 2nd down and 9 as once again Wilson and Albrecht will go to the far side of the field. 2 wideouts to the near side with Green to the left of Johnson. Green will get the football. They'll lose it. Joe Belden might have fell on it. Let's see. And Belden did. Joe Belden fell on the football as a little bit of a mishap there between Matt Johnson and Darian Green leads to the turnover. And the Orioles get a gift. They now trail by 10 but have the football with still 4 minutes and 50 seconds remaining in this fourth quarter.
So it's not over yet. Avon still has a chance. There was just a very, very poor exchange. I think the quarterback was looking to run outside, and he just didn't get the ball out of the gut of the back in time, or very well anyway.
Avon will start this at their own 49-yard line. Here's Cody Baker looking for some room around the left side. He'll pick up maybe a yard or so and just sneak across into Bronco territory. They'll put the ball right at the midfield stripe, a pickup of about a yard for Baker. It'll bring up 2nd and 9 as the Orioles go into a no-huddle. 3 wideouts to the near side. Cole will roll out to the near side, fire down the field, passes intercepted. He was looking for Matt Batustik, overthrew the ball, and right into the hands of Woody Archibald.
Wow. Second nice play by Woody tonight.
Woody's real name is Dennis. He goes by the name of Woody, and he comes up with a big interception. So within a span of 2 plays, both teams trade turnovers. And now the Broncos have it 1st and 10 from their own 30-yard line. 4:23 on the clock and a 10-point lead. Matt Johnson this time will have Green to his left, starting on this drive on the 30. And Johnson will keep it, and he will run right into the hands of Ryan Bradley. And Ryan will bring him down for a 1-yard loss on the play back to the 28-yard line. About a yard and a half, let's say. Call it 2nd down and 12 for the Broncos. Clock moving. We're at the 4-minute mark in the fourth quarter, and the Broncos up by 10.
Bradley, of course, a junior, 5'7". Played that very, very well.
3-down lineman for Avon as they drop back. As the give is to Green, looks for some room around the right side, and he won't find a whole lot there. He'll just find a lot of white-clad Oriole defenders. And once again, maybe a loss, and now Coach Bless will use a timeout as it's a loss of a couple on the play, and with 3:29 left to go in this fourth quarter, the clock stopped. We'll take a timeout as well. 30-20 is our score. Back after this. This is Oriole football on ASO.
A proud supporter of Avon High School football on AudioSportsOnline.com, ABC Roofing Company is your local source for roofing, siding, gutters, insulation, and more. ABC Roofing has been serving Indy now for 38 years. ABC Roofing Company has received the Angie's List Super Service Award for an unprecedented 13 consecutive years. The ABC Roofing Company is also the area's only Owens Corning Platinum Preferred roofing contractor, only one of 3 in the entire state of Indiana. They also offer a lifetime workmanship guarantee backed 100% by Owens Corning. ABC Roofing is located at 8499 East US Highway 36 in Avon. Call them today at 317-228-9882 or check them out on the web at www.abcrfg.com.
Broncos with a big 3rd down and 14. Orioles need a stop here. And it's a keeper on the option. Here's Johnson looking for room, and he will be close to that 1st down marker before he is run out of bounds on the far side. Gabe Laxton's ran him out of bounds, and where they're spotting the ball, he might be about a yard shy. As they'll spot it on the 39-yard line, that will bring it 4th down and 1 as it's out of bounds, so they'll stop the clock at 3:21. Remember, the Broncos are out of timeouts. And they will bring the punting team on.
Yeah, you hate to do that, and I know that the fans are going to grumble about it, and a lot of other folks will. But this is the smart thing to do. I'm sure that Coach Shelburne would say the same thing.
So Matt Johnson is also the punter. He is on to punt. As Dane will go, almost got that one, but a beautiful kick taken at the 27 by Dane Thomas. He will run up the near sideline and get a nice return into Bronco territory at the 48-yard line, and that's where Avon will have it. 1st and 10, but the clock is not on their side. 3:13 remain in this 4th quarter, and the Orioles still trail by 10 at 30-20. One score we've seen here in the HCC, Zionsville is up their lead at Fishers. They now lead 35-7. So Fishers looks like they are going to fall tonight, which would have been a big mark for Avon. If they could have won this game. They still have a little bit of time, but they got a lot of work to do. Here's a nice pass out to the far side, taken out of bounds. I believe that's Matt, but that's not Matt Batusik. It's Nolan Woolley over there on the far side. It's a pickup of about 5 yards on the play to the Jeff 44-yard line. It'll bring up 2nd down and 5. Clock is stopped with 3:02 remaining in this 4th quarter. Orioles with 1 timeout remaining. The Broncos have used up all of theirs. 3 wideouts to the near side, only 1 to the far side. That's Devin Michael. Dropping back. Here's Johnson. Fires downfield, intercepted. He was looking for Jalen Edwards, but the pass is picked off by Archibald, who comes to the near side and will simply simply fall to the ground at the 38-yard line. Pass was intended for Jalen Edwards, and once again, the ball sails long from Johnson's hand and right into the hands of Woody Archibald of the Broncos.
Well, you've still got 2:50 left. So if Avon conceivably comes up with another turnover on this next play, because they've three turnovers in about 6 plays on both teams' efforts, it still really isn't over. It just depends on what the Orioles can do right here. But, you were talking about that Fishers letdown, and they, of course, won over Zionsville last year 38-14, so I'm sure the Eagles were thinking about that one.
Expect to see a heavy dose of Darian Green, and he gets the carry right off the bat. Runs right into everybody else on the Oriole defense who knew he was going to get the football. Maybe a half a yard at best. The ball was spotted just on the other side of the 39-yard line. It'll be 2nd down and a long 9 yards to go for Lafayette Jet. But for the Broncos, the important thing, the clock moves at 2:26 left to go in the 4th quarter.
Well, the Bronco defense has really kind of asserted itself. That offense also has done the same thing tonight, and that's what you want to do at homecoming. Again, I don't think they're as bad as 2-4 suggests.
Well, as the season has gone, the Bronco offense has shown to be rather competent. It's been the defense that has let them down, but not so tonight, as Mark Bless will take his 3rd and final timeout to stop the clock with 2:02 left to go in this 4th quarter. We'll take a quick timeout as well. This is Oriole Football on Audio Sports Online.
Sullivan's Tire Plus is a proud supporter of Avon Oriole Football on ASO, and they want to remind you that in order to receive a complete oil change for just $18.99, all you have to do is like them on Facebook. They have 2 locations, one in Danville and one at 8397 East US 36 in Avon. You can call them for all your automotive needs and questions at 317-272-5050 Monday through Saturday. Sullivan's Tire Plus, voted the best of Hendricks County for 3 years in a row.
Alongside Doug Edens, I'm Brian Scott. As this 4th quarter winds down, and unfortunately for Avon, they find themselves on the short end of a 30-20 lead by Lafayette Jefferson. It'll be third down and about 8 yards to go. Ball just beyond the 40-yard line of the Broncos. 2:02 remains in the fourth quarter as they'll bring Green in motion, but this play will be stopped dead as Johnson shows his frustration in spiking the ball as somebody jumped, and they'll back him up 5 yards. Of course, for Hendricks County teams, if you are so inclined to keep up with them, one of the big shockers of the night might be happening at Tri-West, where they are up on number 2 ranked in Class 3A Western Boone by the score of 32-20. And there are just about 6 minutes left to go in the fourth quarter. So that would be a big upset, even though Tri-West was 5-1 coming into tonight's action. They were facing a very, very good Webo team, and it looks like Webo is going to go down to their first defeat of the season. Smith, hot snap, but he's able to get it, and then Brian Stinnett will stand him up. So once again, this time Lafayette Jefferson dodges a bullet. It was a hot snap.
Yep.
And for Matt Johnson, he's able to just get his hands on the football and recover it and allow himself to go back in punt formation. It's fourth down and about 13, but the clock's moving. There's 1:30 left to go in the fourth quarter.
Not had to catch it to defend himself against that. It was so like a rocket out to him.
Dane Thomas is going to send back as a single safety, but the Orioles will be betting the farm on this punt as they will be going after Johnson. They are down by 10, and the clock is moving. They are out of timeout, so the only thing they can be doing here is taking the delay of game.
Yep.
You could see that Johnson thought about taking a timeout and then was quickly reminded they were out of timeouts.
Yeah.
So they'll back them up 5 and put the ball just beyond the 30-yard line, and they'll get ready to punt this ball away. Dane Thomas will go back as a single safety, but the Orioles will be bringing the house on this punt. They trail by 10, 1:03 left in the game. Good snap. Here they come, and it's a high, short kick as it will take a backward hit, and it will be touched, and it will be downed right there at the 32-yard line. So Avon catches a break on the poor punt. A net of maybe about 6 yards. It's illegal touch. It's a touch by, the Broncos, and Avon will set up shop at the Bronco 32-yard line. 1 minute even left in the game. Avon is going to have to put the ball in the end zone quickly. Cole Johnson is the quarterback. Drops back to pass. Fires, looking for Devin Michael. Michael runs down, and no flag is a good coverage over on the near sideline.
Yeah, the ball was on his outside shoulder. He had coverage on the inside or on the outside, or the ball was on the inside shoulder. He had coverage, a man in his face on the inside, so he didn't have a chance with that. I'm kind of surprised it wasn't picked.
Trammell Abbott was step for step with Devin Michael, and there's not too many that can do that with Devin. So it'll bring up 2nd and 10 with 55.9 seconds remaining. Anthony Green remains the tailback for protection. Johnson fires downfield. Pass is complete at the 10 and dropped right there, I believe, is Matt Batustik. And Batustik will be dropped right at the 10-yard line. It'll bring up 1st and goal as the Orioles hurry to the line of scrimmage because they will wind the clock once the chains are set. 48 seconds and counting. Johnson takes the snap, drops back, looks for a man, fires, and bumped off the route was Jalen Edwards looking for a flag. He won't see one. And that'll bring up 2nd and 10.
Yeah. Again, needs acting lessons on how to draw those flags.
Edwards slightly bumped off the route as he was dragging down the goal line. Edwards and Woolley, and now Richie Steinmetz has made his way out onto the field. 2nd and 10. Rich back to pass, fires, right side, pass incomplete. Looking over here at the near side as he was looking for Chad Skaggs. Pass is incomplete, and that'll bring up 3rd and 10.
That was a very, very catchable ball. It just kind of hit Skaggs right there in the palm and skipped out.
And now Johnson is going to come back into the football game. So Ritchie is in for one play, and they bring Cole back out onto the field. So Johnson out there with 3 wideouts to the left. Johnson, quarterback draw right up the middle, and he will be into the end zone for the touchdown. Yeah. So Cole Johnson from 10 yards out brings it in. And the Orioles now trail by 4 with 34.7 seconds remaining. So an interesting decision. They will go for the point after. That will keep it a 3-point game, as Niles Edwards is on for the point after. And Edwards' kick is up, and it is through. So all sorts of drama here with 34.7 seconds remaining, as Cole Johnson's 10-yard scamper puts the Orioles down by only 3. And now the onside kick coming up for Avon. Both teams are out of timeouts. So the game will come down to this onside kick. If Jeff recovers, that's the football game.
Yeah.
If the Orioles recover, Niles Edwards has a leg. And they would be just a couple of quick pass plays to be within tying range of Niles Edwards' leg. So the game will come down to this onside kick. Darian Green is going to stand back to his 20-yard line. He's got no shot of getting the football. Meanwhile, 10 Broncos are up at the 50. Granted, there are new rules in place for kickoffs and onside kicks this year. The kicking team can't touch a defending player before 10 yards. Here is a high kick, but it skips on the ground, and for the second straight onside kick, it is recovered by Daniel Nelson. And it was what you wanted. You wanted to put the ball and skim it on the ground. Unfortunately for Avon, it didn't take a hop.
Yeah.
It stayed on the ground, and Nelson just covered it up, and that'll be the football game.
Sometimes they do, sometimes they don't.
It is why they made it that shape.
Yeah.
You usually look to see if you can get it to bounce on a point and bounce up in the air, but this one skimmed on the ground as the Broncos will go into a victory formation, as taking the snap and taking a knee, and they will have to do it one more time. For Lafayette Jefferson, a very, very big win tonight, as they will knock off Avon. Jeff will improve to 3-4 on the season, while the loss for the Orioles will drop them to 4-3. Fishers was losing big to Zionsville, so it will be Zionsville one game behind the Brownsburg Bulldogs, and the Bulldogs and the Eagles, they still got a game to play.
Yep. Takes
a knee, and that will do it here, as the Lafayette Jefferson Broncos have knocked off the Avon Orioles by the score of 30-27. We're going to take a quick timeout. Back with some final thoughts after this. This is Oriole football on ASO.
Sullivan's Tire Plus is a proud supporter of Avon Oriole football on ASO, and they want to remind you that in order to receive a complete oil change for just $18.99, all you have to do is like them on Facebook. They have 2 locations, one in Danville and one at 8397 East US 36 in Avon. You can call them for all your automotive needs and questions at 317-272-5050 Monday through Saturday. Sullivan's Tire Plus, voted the best of Hendricks County for 3 years in a row. Motion 360 by Hendricks Regional Health provides care for the way you were meant to move. We care for every muscle, bone, and joint in your body to get you back to the activities you love. Get more information online at mymotion360.org.
Alongside Doug Edens, I'm Brian Scott. The Avon Orioles fall to Lafayette Jefferson on the Broncos' homecoming night. As Avon falls to 4-3 on the season, they drop this one by the score of 30-27. Too many big plays by Lafayette Jefferson in this football game, and way too much Darian Green, who goes over 1,000-yard rushings for the season. He had some big plays, as it was also the combined effort with quarterback Matt Johnson also providing a lot of heroics tonight. But for the Orioles, just giving up too many of these big plays. The defense not quite picking up enough to help the offense out. And for the offense, a few missed chances at the time. It looked like Avon was going to get back into this game as they scored a quick touchdown with about a 30-second span to end the first half, trailing by the score of 16-14, but you just knew it wasn't going to be the Orioles' night when it was Lafayette Jefferson taking the ensuing kickoff of the second half. Carl McQuay ran it back 67 yards, a kickoff return for a touchdown. The Orioles would be held to only 5 plays before having to punt, and then the Broncos would get an 8-yard touchdown run from Matt Johnson on an extended drive, and it would quickly make it 30-14. That just proved to be too much of a deficit for the Orioles to overcome. They did try to do that here in the second half. Both teams, matter of fact, tried to give the ball away here in this fourth quarter. So a couple of fumbles by the Broncos. Unfortunately for Avon, only the last one they would be able to do anything about. But in the end, they're going to fall to 4-3 on the season by the score of 30-27. And as we look around the HCC, and I bring in Doug Edens right now, with 2 games left and 2 weeks left, it's just a matter of getting ready for sectionals.
Yeah, and it's also a matter of pride, too. I think that, something I wanted to mention last week when you and Coach were talking about Avon being unprepared for Brownsburg, personally I thought, as just an interested observer, that what really derailed the Orioles against Brownsburg was their loss to Fishers. I think that with it being virtually in a national venue of Lucas Oil Stadium, a complete meltdown in the fourth period. And they didn't score at all in the second half, and they were only down 4 when the fourth period began. And then to go into Brownsburg, of all places, who had just throttled Hamilton Southeastern before, and they go 3 periods without scoring. So I think that the loss to Fishers was big. I think that Avon had gotten over the hurdle of Hamilton Southeastern. They were looking probably for an undefeated season, and I think that they thought that it was probably possible. I thought it was possible, especially with the way the defense played early on. But tonight just wasn't one of their nights. There were too many leaks. Again, now they have special teams to worry about. Going into the sectional, the cream is always going to rise to the top. And when you're leaking like that, it's awfully tough to compete.
Yeah, and that's going to be the big thing of Coach Bless will look at. His team did manage to battle back a few times, but one of the things he's going to really take a hard, long look at was what they gave up on special teams, especially in the kick return game, both punting and kickoff. They gave up the big, long kickoff return for a touchdown. They also gave up 2 long returns by Darian Green on kickoff returns, while their kick coverage themselves, their kick return, Dane Thomas did a fine job tonight. That's a lot of yards to give up. They were consistently putting Jeff in excellent field position because Jeff was able to get these long kick returns, and that was a big help. And when you look at the final score and you find out that it was a 30-14 game with about 3 minutes left to go in the third quarter, and our final score is 30-27. Just a couple of things here or there, a couple of little plays, as most coaches tell you, a play here, a play there. This could have easily been an Avon win, but tonight they go home with the loss. They fall to 4-3 on the season. They will have their home finale next week when they welcome the McCutcheon Mavericks at Orioles Stadium. Alongside Doug Eden and Coach Dave Shelbourne, I will be here, and we'll have all the action for Oriole football. Pregame show will be at 6:45, and the kickoff between the Orioles and the Mavericks will begin at McCutcheon. Yeah, okay, we're in Lafayette.
You're good.
Or McCutcheon will be at 7:00. So once again, your final score here from Lafayette Jefferson: the Broncos knock off the Orioles. They win this game by the score of 30-27. For Doug Edens, this is Brian Scott saying thanks for joining us tonight for Oriole football. We look forward to seeing you next week back at Avon. Until then, so long, everybody.
Thank you for tuning in to Avon Oriole Football, presented by Reynolds Body Shop and XRBRadio.com. Tonight's game was brought to you by Reynolds Body Shop, McDonald's, ABC Roofing, and Sullivan's Tire Plus. Avon Varsity Football is an AudioSportsOnline.com production.